Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson, and it's Sunday morning. I'm joined with my panelist, that is Eric Ayaga. He's with us this morning. Eric, habari ya asubuhi?
Mm, Habari, yes, my morning is good.
Yes.
Sijaona mabaya pahali.
Mm,
Asante. I welcome all our viewers on board. Let
yeah.
us have a nice show.
All right. Thank you so much, Ayaga, for coming in. I know we will be having Joseph will be joining us soon. I spoke to him. Ayaga, this observation that I've made. I don't know what is your take on it. I've seen Jao Koburu is having some meetings with Bunge la Wananchi. What does this one mean, especially now with all that we are seeing in ODM and the Jaramogi family?
There is something I always wanted to say,
Yeah.
but I think the time is still not appropriate for me to share it.
All right.
But
So.
immediately when Raila died, there are so
Mhm.
many things that have been
Mm.
taking place. And
Yeah.
the problem of ODM is in
Mm.
Jaramogi's family center. That's where
Mm.
the epicenter of the
Mm.
disagreement between in among the ODM luminaries. It
Yes.
rested on Jaramogi's uh, family. Because I
Mm.
remember when Raila was going to AU,
Yes.
I remember there is a time he appointed Anyang' Nyong'o to be as a as a interim leader. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why ODM people could not pick the same Nyong'o to be on an interim basis for a period of time. But I think
Mm.
there is a deep, a deep, a deeper thing
Mm.
why Uhuru installed himself. I can't say he was installed. He was just installed by some few people who want to manage and take control of ODM for time being.
Yeah, as we still wait for Joseph, because you remember, the Secretary General was not around when the NEC met actually and came up with the Oburu Odinga as the deputy in acting capacity. And this was announced when the body of the Right Honorable Prime Minister was still on the air. So, and things went so fast. What could be the hurry, especially, and remember, ODM also had like almost, is it 3 deputies, those who could take care of the party, including the one that you've just mentioned about Nyong'o being appointed as the acting during the time when Baba was vying for AU chairmanship.
I think the hurry was to take control of ODM. That was the
Mhm.
biggest hurry in all this. And they never even waited. Baba was airborne when the Central Committee sat and
Mm.
declared Oburu. I don't think if there was another name that was floated for also to be considered. I don't know
Mm.
how it happens or by who, but it is a matter of days and time. We will know what actually happens because at that time everybody was keenly just concentrating on tracking the plane that was coming with Raila Odinga. Then,
Mm.
boom, there was information that ODM Central Committee have sat and
Mm.
declared. I think that was a very, very uncalled for situation. But though
Yeah.
it has happened, so we will just manage it the way it is because we are seeing that there are people who are planning to run away with the ODM party.
Okay. All right, Araga. Thank you so much. But for how long will this one happen? For how long will we be experiencing such like, especially knowing very well that ODM has been this bigger party with massive following almost in the country as compared to other political parties? For how long will this one this back and forth?
I think by next year March we
Mm,
will reach a solution, because sometimes if they want to deliver ODM to Ruto, we
mm,
and some of us we are not into Ruto's side, we
yeah.
may let them deliver the party to William Ruto and not the
Mm,
people. Because we have always opined in many discussion that in Raila Odinga, when he joined this broad-based government, it is for the first time he went there and leave people behind. How
mm,
he could have catch up with the people is Raila Odinga's style of politics,
yeah.
and how he could have convinced people to join is is like Raila Odinga style of politics. But what I promise you, because I'm seeing the ODM broad-based side, they are
Mm,
now coming to terms with the reality that maybe Raila left people behind. They might run with the party and not the people. I think what Ruto need is the
mm,
people. So they have either they sit down, go with us, because there is a say that if you want to go far, go with the people. But if you want to go fast, do it alone. So it is the way they choose it. If they choose it to go fast, they will do it alone. If they want to go far, they will wait for
mhm.
the people, explain this to the people, and I hope that the people will be alongside them. But with these things we are seeing,
Yeah.
there is a very big bombshell that's just a wait to explode in
Do,
my
do you
party own.
do you think when you reflect back, even at the time when the Right Honorable Prime Minister joined and we came up with a broad-based government, and this came immediately after the Gen Z protest, whereby a good number of young people lost their lives, a good number of young people were abducted. Do you think this could have contributed also for the unpopularity of the broad-based government, even coming, the Baba coming and um, signing agreement with President Ruto to stabilize the country? Could that one also could have contributed to the unpopularity of the broad-based government until today?
I want to concur with the statement of Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka yesterday at Ugunja,
Mm,
because I also had information about the
yeah,
same thing, and
yeah,
Baba never denied it because it is true. I think there was a plan to form a coalition government between Azimio and and Kenya Kwanza immediately after the Gen Z, and that was the essence uh, of dissolving the cabinet.
mhm,
That
yeah,
was the main reason. But something happened when Raila was in United States of America.
mm,
Uh, when Ruto called these four people directly, and that is something that I'm told even Sifuna said it when Baba is alive, that these people were
mm,
called directly and
mhm,
first them. And I think
mhm,
Baba being Baba choose
mhm,
not to betray some of his sons, even after
yeah,
those sons betrayed him. So
mm,
these people they were called, and when Baba was informed, Baba said then, give Joho the minister of finance and body, this and that. But Ruto himself that insisted that he want Mbadi to be the minister of finance. And at
yeah,
the same time, Oparanya felt actually
mm,
betrayed. So
betrayed.
we can say when we go there,
Mm,
when two villagers meet in a rich man's house, they automatically become same. So they might
okay.
be having some, they manage it in public, but the
Mhm,
fact is there that there was a disagreement. And when Baba came, Baba
mm,
wanted to disown and unleash them to the people, being that
mm,
the country was so angry by that time. Raila Odinga, being a
yeah,
father, weighs and say, no, no, no,
mm,
these are now my sons, and let's call them experts. And that's
mm,
how Baba Ruto came to convince Baba later that we can work together. And I think that hurry from these four guys is what
Mhm.
made the likes of Kalonzo not
Mhm.
be part of that, what we call the broad-based government.
Do you agree there was an agreement based on now what you are saying that what Kalonzo said when he was campaigning in Ugunja? There was that transitional government that they wanted to make transitional government as they prepare for a real government to come in place based on what happened. Maybe quite a number of people were not very happy about it, and that also could have necessitated that those who were called and they ended up grabbing these positions as soon as possible.
Yes, yes, I want to confirm that Kalonzo and this side now, they call themselves United Opposition Minus, excluded only Rigathi
Mm,
Gachagua. They
mm,
insisted actually, the likes of Martha Karua, on a
mm,
transitional government. But
mm,
Raila, being Raila, weighs the both side and say, no, we can stabilize this government and deal with this guy in 2027. That's why
mm,
he automatically
mhm.
becomes
Sorry. Yeah.
words. He saying, let us be part of this government up to
Mm,
2027. Beyond
mm,
that, there is no concrete agreement that he will proceed with Ruto to that. What Raila wanted is to stabilize the government. Having a
mm,
transition could have thrown Kenya into another political quagmire where campaigns, or you have a 90-day government, then after that you start another presidential campaign barely 2 years after a highly contested election. I think
yeah.
we could have found ourselves in a very big deep trouble. So
Okay.
Raila balance and say no, let us let us stabilize this government. It is only for 5 years, and then after
Mhm.
that we can come together and work together. And that's why the NASA was never dissolved.
All right. Before we go to the main discussion, because we want to look at what happened in Kabuchai, especially with Mbeere today, with Kabuchai member of parliament, the violence, and how he escaped. That is, escaped death. You saw how there was gunshots on his way until his bodyguard had to save him. But there's something that also I don't know whether you were very keen. I listened to Orengo. He was having an interview with Ramogi, and something that I really picked from that interview that Orengo said that he still maintains about the structure. And Orengo insists that the one problem with the broad-based that it is not structured as compared to other agreement that Raila has always had, because when it is not anchored in any law, it is not quite much easier. This is now what I think, to hold somebody responsible or accountable for even what you're doing. For instance, look at it right now. Um, Before the 10-point agenda that was signed by between the Right Honorable Prime Minister and William Ruto, there was that meetings that they were both of them. That with us, we don't know what was discussed. We just only saw the 10-point agenda. But if these issues could have been anchored in or structured, it could have been quite much easier, especially to show accountability and say that, okay, what are we going to do with abduction? What are we going to do with the BBI? What are we going to do with devolution? What are we going to do with this? But the way things stands, there is nowhere, especially that you can refer to a law or a creation or a bylaw that the broad-based government is anchored, is a gentleman agreement. Do you agree with Orengo in terms of the way he reasons, or people just think that Orengo is one guy who was born to criticize, to be in the position?
I, I I think I totally agree with Orengo, 100%. Not
Yeah.
even 100, 150%. I
Mhm.
agree with Orengo. Let me give you a little bit brief history of Orengo.
Yeah.
I think I saw even Oburu Ding alluded that one point Orengo disagree or betrayed Raila. Orengo never betrayed Raila. Orengo has never betrayed Raila. Look at the elections of 2002.
Mm-hmm.
The What Orengo wanted is what he was asking here. He was telling Raila, before you have any coalition agreement with Kibaki, let us back
Mm-hmm.
it with a constitution so that if you become a prime minister and you are given ministry portfolio, Kibaki should not be the one to send away or remove your ministers from power. And when
Mm-hmm.
Raila went blindly and said Kibaki Tosha, Orengo said no, and Nyong'o. And I think they were vindicated later when the election were held, and
Mm-hmm.
now it is post. Raila was not given the prime minister post, he was given the road ministry, and he was
Yeah.
told it is either you take it or you leave it.
Leave it.
So Raila was,
Mm-hmm.
the Orengo was vindicated.
Mm-hmm.
When the formation of ODM was taking place, Orengo was not in the fold, he was not still around. And when the Kalonzo and Dan Mansos of this world disappeared with the original ODM Kenya, it is
Mm-hmm.
Raila who went to look for Rengo. And
Mm-hmm.
people should take it is Raila who went to look for Rengo and told Rengo, you must come. And that's how they secure ODM from Lawyer Imanyara, the ODM party we have today, from Lawyer
Mm-hmm.
Imanyara, who had registered that party earlier before
Okay.
ODM Kenya. Remember, ODM party was formed even before referendum. People are very clever. And when they went to form the ODM party, they
Mm-hmm.
realized that ODM party has been registered by somebody. So that's
Mm-hmm.
how they sought to have ODM Kenya, which
Oh.
again Kalonzo and Manzo disappeared with. So in that scenario, Raila
Mm-hmm.
needs a lawyer who can face on the reality at that time, and that's how the ODM party was secured through Orengo's wife, who is coming from Meru, because the party was registered by a Marian lawyer called Imanyar through Orengo.
Oh.
And I want to tell people, I wonder how some people are saying, Orengo was not part of this party, was secured through Orengo. It was the negotiation through Orengo. It was actually Orengo's intervention that today we have a party called ODM party.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how Raila has never walked away from Orengo. Remember when the 207 now comes, Orengo was now the leading legal mind around Raudinga. And what he ensured with the coalition government, that
Yeah.
when Raila appoints his ministers, it is him who can send them away and can appoint them. That's why at one point Raila chased Ruto out of Ministry of Agriculture, and Kibaki reappoints that man in Ministry of Higher Education. If you remember that drama by that time. So
I do.
what Orengo actually help is that if you are given the portfolio of minister and you are the one who appoints, nobody
Mm-hmm.
else in the name of president can send them away. But what we have today, Ruto can wake up and do a reshuffling, and but is taken to forest. What will we do? We don't
Oh.
have any law to back it. We have
So.
nothing. What Orengo is saying is
Mm-hmm.
more healthy to Mbadi than even Raila himself. Raila didn't want any position than even Orengo himself. What he wanted is, if a party leader of ODM or
Mm-hmm.
Azimio in that matter is given some ministry portfolio, William
Yeah.
Ruto cannot wake up from the sleep and do a cabinet reshuffle. That the power that he has today, he can do anything he wants. He can even wake up and say reshuffle the PSS, and Raymond Omolo is taken to wildlife. You can do nothing because the constitution allows that. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that is the argument of Orengo. We have seen it before. Where, and even how sure are we that if we go with the current with the status quo into 2027 election, and Ruto,
Yeah.
God forbid, Ruto wins, and he
Mhm.
make Mbadi the minister of lands or minister of water, what will happen? Will
Mhm.
Mbadi come and tell us we have been betrayed? No,
Yeah.
we must be smarter than that. Orengo is the right way to go. Orengo's thinking is the right way to go. So I
All
support
right.
him.
All right, thank you so much. These are just part of the conversation that we have, and that's the one thing that was surprising, especially when you look at this broad-based government. Even it was quite unclear, especially when the 10-point agenda were being signed, that Orengo was missing in action. That is something that we've never seen, especially when it comes to contractual. And legal things to do with legal matters. Like Orengo will always be beside Baba, but for this one, it was unusual to see that Orengo was not around that day. That was also was kind of like a question mark was raised there. Maybe could do you know what could have transpired to, or Orengo was committed somewhere that he could not um, be at the function then?
Yes, Orengo did not. I don't think even Otiende Amolo attended. The only
Mm,
person I saw there was Oledama, Olekina, and Wanga.
mm,
So for me, the legal mind from the entire Luo Nyanza, and Raila never walked alone. He always have let me give you brief another side of this document that was signed at KICC. You
yes.
remember immediately after the Baba AU botched mission in AU
Mm,
Addis Ababa, Ethiopia,
mm,
Raila went to Dubai and disappeared for some times. And
yes.
when he comes back, people want to
Mm,
welcome him at the airport. And before we knew it, Baba was in Mombasa. And you can check, he was with Uburu and Kimani Chungwa, William Ruto, and there was a document that was on the table that was to be signed in Mombasa at that
mm,
time. They
yeah.
say when Baba perused that, Baba said, no, I have to contact my legal team. When he passed that document to the likes of Orengo and Otiende Amolo, they refuse, and Paul Mwangi, they refuse and advise Raila that this document, with the anger in the country for now, no,
Mm-hmm.
don't do it. So Raila, being Raila, he convinced Ruto, now let us postpone. We will have, and Raila starts the engagement. You remember the engagement that Baba went around and trying to explain to people how things were going. It was called
Yes.
Raila engaging people, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he went around, and when they reach now Nairobi, uh, that document was prepared by Sifuna, by Yongwen, and by few people like Paul Mwangi. Though
Mm-hmm.
Orengo and Otiende was not included. And even the people said that that document was not even there. It was made the same day in a rush by the likes of Sifuna, and they forwarded it to UDA. So UDA, they had no option but just to accept it. And that's why it is ODM people that talks about that document. I've never even had the Secretary General of UDA explaining any 10-point agenda in any function. He has never mentioned it. Even William
Mm-hmm.
Ruto, he only mentioned it when the political heat is high. But they just mention it like a by the way, like just something that is there. But you have never had clarity, even from Kimani Chungwa as a majority leader, speaking about those 10-point agenda. So that was an ODM issue. And that's why the
Okay.
people like Sifona has always reminded the UDA that that is the way to go, those 10-point agenda.
Okay. Ayaga, thank you so much for that brief. I can see our brother Msimamo yuko na sisi. Nimekusha kutumia link, angalia utaipata. Thank you so much. And I'm seeing Judith Karwitha, thank you so much for joining this morning, and it is good to have you, Ayaga. I'm still waiting for Joseph, or he might get us on the way, because today we are not doing so much. We are just looking at what transpired yesterday, being it was a Sunday. So many events took place. President was in Kisii, where he talked about the opposition and what he wants to do. He also donated almost 20,000 for the church. So that is also something that took place yesterday on Saturday. There was also, I would call it violence in Kabuchai, Chwele. That is Chwele ward. That is in Bungoma County, where they Natembeya and his entourage was attacked by goons, I would say, and they are alleging that all that was done by the Speaker of National Assembly. He accused the Speaker of National Assembly to be behind what really happened to them. Again, today we want to look at the reality check, especially on the by-elections that are coming. Win or lose for President William Ruto and for the opposition. What does it mean? And by what margin are they going to win? And by what margin they're going to lose? Let me take this opportunity also to welcome my panelist again. We have Joseph. Can see Joseph. Joseph, how are you doing?
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
I'm very fine. Thank you for hosting us this morning. Sorry, I was a bit late. I was doing some work a bit.
All right.
I want to greet my fellow panelists, Ayaga and Msimamo. I can see them there.
All right. Thank you so much. Hey, Msimamo, habari gani kaka?
Niko salama kabisa ndugu yangu, hali yako hapo?
Kwema.
Yaga na Joseph vile vile wapokee zangu.
Asante sana. Kwanza kabisa wacha niwashukuru kwa kuchukua nafasi kukuja ili tukuwe na majadiliano kwa yale yaliyotokea jana, sana sana katika uwanja wa siasa. Mengi yalitokea. Tutaanza, wacha tuanze na mambo ya Natembeya. Ayaga, why do you think what happened to Natembeya happened? Because from the look of things, I don't think, when you look at Natembeya group, they were just campaigning peacefully until gunshots were heard, and Natembeya was just there until the bodyguard had to force him to get into his car. What could have happened, and why that at this particular moment in time?
Okay. I think disparate times call for disparate measures. That's where the Wetangula and Musalia Mudavadi has found themselves. You know, they had an agreement with William Ruto, which is 30%, that they should have 30%, 1,000 kilometers of roads in Western Kenya. The things that are far from reality to the Western people. And I think they never see it coming. Natembeya is a river whose time has come. So they never saw it coming. They thought it was a joke because, you know, Western Kenya always have been playing the divisive politics where the Bukusus goes his way and the Kakamega side goes his ways and whatever. So this time round, something very dangerous will happen. With the advance of Natembeya, has been joining hands with the Malalas of this world and Boni Halwali. And the highlight, a guy from Busia called Ababu Namwamba might join that league. This has threatened the status quo. Musalia Mudavadi and Wetangula, I've been told, I always remember, and there is time I attended one of the Buhungus, and I truly could tell them, vunjeni hizo chama zenu, mukakuwe na chama moja ya Waluya na mukue kwa one party, and they thought it was a joke. And now that reality is hitting them at their weakest stage. These people, now they have formed government. In 2022, there was because I have been in Kitale for some times, and I've been in those areas. So there was a trend that was going on in 2022 that Raila have been using us, he bargained for us, we are not benefiting. Now the people are asking them, you have benefited for yourself. You have bargained for ourselves 30% written document. Where is the benefit of Western Kenya? And that's where the Natembeya has picked up. What happened in Kabuchai is just one of the disparate calls that the people like Wetangula are now imposing too late. Because what is happening there, IMCA died in Chwele Ward. And that Kabuchai constituency is where Wetangula comes from. It used to be called Sisiria, and it was, I think, divided into 3 constituency. But the Kabuchai is where Wetangula comes from. And that constituency, the MP Majimbo Kalasinga is now, a Ford Kenya MP, is now opposed to one man, Moses Masika Wetangula. And he doesn't want to, they are not in the same political bed with Moses Masika Wetangula. And he is campaigning, I don't know if he's a DAP candidate or an independent candidate, but that guy they are really campaigning for that guy. And I think by Wetangula losing that seat, or even not winning that seat by bigger margin, the reality might hit very soon. And I have some rumors that Didmas Wabaraza also might join the force with the likes of Natembeya in the near future. So things are getting complicated for Papa Waroma. So you have to act disparately. And I think those are the things you are seeing now are the disparate call. And those are expected in politics. People never leave politics or power peacefully. So it will have some fights and infights and up and down. We just pray that Natembeya will be safe, and I know he will be safe. He is a commando. He also surround himself with a very good a very good security, and I know he have also intelligence in the ground. And when he was going there, I know, because that is the same place. I remember there was a day he was campaigning from Kakamega, and when he reached Chwele, their vehicles were stoned. So it is not a coincidence that thing again happened around Chwele. And when he left Chwele, he went like a kilometer to Wetangula's home, and they did the same, where he was saying, Wetangula wewe ni tumbafu. So, and I think that prompts the Wetangula side not now to follow the convoy, but to go and take the anger to Kalasinga's home. And I want to say this, the main problem Rigathi Gachagua is having, we may disagree politically, don't attack somebody's family. Because if you attack home, you are risking the life of a wife, maybe mfanyikazi yule tu ameandikwa hapo hata kuchunga ng'ombe ama kufyeka ama landscaper ama house help, that is not even engaged in politics. That's where only Rigji has a problem with even his own community. Now we are coming to reality to know. We might have laumu Rigji by that time. We are now coming to know that the Kenya Kwanza, who are the people who organize the Uru's Farmland, Raila Spectrum International to be attacked, Mamangina to be attacked. If this is the kind of politics that we should disagree politically, but leave my family alone. I leave your family alone. I should not go anywhere near your business or near your home. I might even endanger your mom's or your dad's life, because those people are too old even to understand what is going on in the field of politics. So that is the only thing that hurts me, going to
Okay.
somebody's home to actually cause havoc. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Yaga, for that. Let me come to you, Mr. Joseph. Maybe what can you say about what happened in Kabuchai and what happened to Natembeya?
Yes, thank you. It's very unfortunate that our politics has come to, if you are not happy, or you are feeling like somebody is gaining stride in your certain region, that you can be able to hire goods and go to the house of somebody. Even leave about the gunshots. They went to MP Kalasinga's home, and they threw stones to the glasses and damaged so many things there. On top of that, the police also fired live ammunition on citizens. So I'm wondering, what is the work of police in campaigns if it is not to give security? If they are not there to give security, what is their work? Why do they need even to be in campaign trail? Because I don't see any campaign. Before I saw Natembeya with his convoy in another region, and we were going very peacefully without even presence of the police. Why do they need to have police? But I think this is a strategy of those guys who are back in the government. When the government, you are back in the government, you can tell even the police officers what to do. But it's a very unfortunate. But let me tell you one thing, Brother Benson. They are not going to stop the river from flowing. You can try to place so many obstacles. You can try to put so many obstacles between the river, so that it cannot flow downside. But when the river comes with force, even those obstacles will be carried. Now that is what is happening. The obstacles that they were trying to put is Mtangula and Musalia Mudavadi. But now the river has come with them. It is carrying them all together. So let him not be angry. This is politics. And I've never seen, the problem is Musalia Mudavadi has never played politics, such kind of politics. It is very heavy on him. Musalia is not the caliber of people who play politics which are full of violence. I've never seen him playing those kind of politics. But since he's joined this Kenya Kwanza brigade, he has been a person who is really changed. He's not the Musalia we knew. I don't think even the people love this Musalia we have. He's not a good Musalia. If you heard him talking yesterday and seemed like he's threatening somebody, but I think he's thinking his work is threatened, because if Natembeya is going to Natembeya and the team, they are going to win the Malava seat, I think it is not going to be a business as usual for Musalia Mudavadi. I saw also the Musalia Mudavadi and group. They came with a certain strategy that they are saying Nakumicha, and I think the other guy is called, he was called somebody. There is another guy who was in parliament last session, but he never came. He's always a brown guy. I don't remember his name. He was in Kiminini. He was Kiminini MP.
Eugene Wamalwa.
No.
Chris Wamalwa.
Yes, Chris Wamalwa. I saw them. They are trying to say that they are going to start a campaign for removing Natembeya in Trans Nzoia. So I think it's also their right. But let me tell you, brother, something. I think those people who thought Natembeya does not have any strength and numbers, I think yesterday they were proved wrong. And they need to restructure. I think Kenya Kwanza need to restructure. What is happening in the ground, I think even if Faruki Bet is there to campaign for these certain candidates, I think it is not helping at all. It is not helping anybody at all. So they need to restructure. And one thing else, if I'm hearing from Mayaga that so many of these members are turning ship, if you hear members of parliament turning ship and joining a certain party or a certain group or a certain coalition, just know it means that the coalition, the coalition they were, it is falling. It is not doing well in that region. So I think it will be also, that's why I told you, Brother Benson, this one is a marker for elections of 2027. That's why you see it is full of violence, it is full of chaos. And I told IEBC need to do something, because you cannot be that people are campaigning and police are shooting live ammunitions when there is people there, and there is nothing the people have done. They have not thrown stones at the police. They have not done anything. They are not demonstrating. They are campaigning. But you, as a police officers, you come and you start shooting. That IBC should investigate this one very hard, and also they should investigate more of the why people will go and stone houses of a person or an MP who is in the campaign trail of. It means there is a machinery working from the government. So it's very unfortunate, but the government does not help this one. It's sending police to intimidate people. People get angry even. People get angry and they say, now we are going to vote even for Seth Panyako with strength, because you seem like unataka kututishia.
Okay, thank you so much Joseph for that, and wacha nimwalike ndugu yangu, labda tu nataka kukuuliza swali. Ukiangalia yale ambayo inatokea, inamaanisha kwamba hawa watu wanaogopa ama wameingizwa baridi kwa Natembea, kwa sababu labda jambo ambalo anasema ni kama jambo ambayo inasikika na inaaminika na wananchi ambao wako sehemu hiyo, ndio maana wanafanya mambo kama haya. Kaka,
unanipata?
Nakupata vizuri.
Ndio. Asante ndugu yangu kwa swali hilo. Kwanza ni uoga. Pili ni kuishiwa maarifa. Tatu ni kukosa watu. Unajua, Natembea yeye amebuild trust kwa watu. Hawa wengine wamekosa ile trust kwa watu kutokana na mahali wamejikita. Sehemu waliko ni wao ndo wanafaidi, wa Kenya wananchi hawafaidi. So Natembea yeye lazima ataandamwa, maana yeye yuko na watu na hawa nao wanatafuta hao watu, ingawaje watu ndio wamechoshwa kabisa na habari hizi zao. So kwa kulifanya hili ni sawasawa tu na kuchukua mzigo kwenye kichwa, tena kusema acha nipumzike, acha niregeshe kwenye bega, lakini mwili ni upi? Ni huo mmoja. Kwa hivyo naweza nikasema hili ni mchecheto, ni uoga. Labda pengine eti ataona kwamba mimi nikiendelea hivi basi labda mambo yanaweza haribika, ambao ni jambo ambalo linamshusha mwingine thamani. Mimi kwangu ni kusema Natembea zaidi kuwasha moto zaidi. Na despite kwamba yuko na security, lakini pia wananchi tuwe wa kwanza kuweza kuwa na security, kuweza kulinda hawa viongozi, kwa kuweza kuona kwamba mbona kuna watu wanapanga mikakati isiyofaa, basi tunawachangamkia kabla hata hawajafikia viongozi wetu, kwa sababu na imani sisi tuna ulinzi mkubwa. Hawa watu watakuja, watakuwa watakuja maeneo yetu, tutawashangaa kwa matendo ambao hayamfungamani haswa na uhalisia wa amani ya mahali husika. So tukichukua maamuzi mapema kuweza kuwabumburusha hawa, pia na sisi tutaweka mchecheto hao ambao wanapanga vitu vya ajabu kama hivi, vitu ambavyo ni vya kuweza kuumiza wengine kwa ajili ya mamlaka, kwa ajili ya uongozi. So huu wote ni uoga wa kuweza kumtishia huyu bwana, lakini kwa kweli vita vikubwa hapa ni mwananchi ameelekea wapi? Unaona?
Alright. Asante sana. Bado kuna swali ambayo niko nazo chungu mzima, kwa sababu tunataka kuangazia vile hii mambo yanatembea, na pia tuangalie uchaguzi mdogo ambao zinakuja. Tutaangalia labda kama kutatokea ushindi, tutaangalia asilimia ngapi labda tuseme kwamba upinzani wamepata, na asilimia ngapi hata kama labda tuseme serikali wamepoteza, watakuwa wamepoteza kwa asilimia ngapi, na tutakuwa tunaangalia ina maana gani tukielekea uchaguzi wa 2027? So bado utakuwa hapo.
Asante kaka, labda pengine mimi kwa sababu natatimka niingilie tu padogo hapo nimepazungumza.
Okay, sawa, asante.
Kumekucha nikatafute kande ya watoto.
Asante sana. Umepatiwa ruhusa.
La kwanza tujifunze yale yako mbele. Yale yako mbele yanatupa picha wazi kwamba tunakoelekea. Yaani kwa sisi wananchi tunaweza sema mbele iko sawa. Mbele iko sawa. Kwa mimi kwa percentage hawa jamaa watalose kwa sababu hawana mwananchi. Kwa hivyo silaha pekee wanaotumia ni hela. Lakini sasa wananchi wako mbali sana na hiyo. Wanajua kwamba hii hela siku hizi imekuwa ni chambo, na kama ni chambo ndani kuna ndoana. Kwa hivyo kila hiki chambo kisha mwisho wa siku unajipata ndoana imekushika, na alafu kutoka hapo kwa ndoana itakuwa ngumu. Unaona? So nafikiri hii mbinu yao wanaitumia ya kuweza kuzimwaga hela kwa fujo, kwa kuweza kuwateka wale ambao walikuwa wanaamini tangia awali kwamba ni wakati wetu wa kula. Unajua kulikuwa na hizo misemo kwamba nao ni wakati wetu wa kula, ukiacha kula hapa jamaa watakwenda kula miaka 5. But nao Wakenya wamegundua haswa hawa Gen Z wameweza kuleta vitu vingi ambavyo vya hamasa, na pia Wakenya wenyewe tumehamasishana kama Wakenya kwamba kura yetu ni kura ambayo inaamua hatima ya maisha ya miaka 5 ya mwananchi. Sasa mfano ukipeleka kusiko kwa kiongozi na tamaa na njaa ya sasa, kwa kukipokea tonge la mkononi, basi utakosa wamvuleni. Na nafikiri Wakenya sasa hivi wameamua kutafuta wamvuleni ambao haswa serikali imeshindwa kwa kiasi kikubwa.
Okay, sawa. Okay, asante sana kakangu kwa hayo. Bado tu kama utakuwa umefuata nafasi, bado tutakuwepo hapa, utaingia na tutazidi kuzungumza. Na ukienda kutafuta pia tunakuombea Mungu akutangulie yale ambao unatarajia, Mungu aizijibu. Okay. All right. Ayaga, I hope you're still there. When you look at what is happening to Mbeere, and bearing in mind that especially right now, we know for a fact that before the death of the Right Honorable Prime Minister, he was one person that was controlling especially the Western politics. And now Mbeere is coming and is gaining traction. Could this one be one of those strategies that is being used maybe to scare him, knowing very well that he is destabilizing the path for 2025 and especially for the Mulembe nation, especially to go to the government? Or what can you say about that?
Okay. I think Mbeere is just taking, even before Baba, there was a political vacuum in Western Kenya when Musalia dissolved ANC. So there was a little, kama ni kidogo, there was a vacuum. And nature always hate vacuum. So that vacuum must have been filled. And Mbeere has played a good role, and he has worked with the people like-minded like Alwali to ensure that that is filled. It was not coming to reality to people like Musalia Mudavadi, but now the reality is coming to them that actually and I think that is what making Musalia very angry. And true, he was telling people at Malava that if he lost that election, the people of Western might take away his work. So I think his work is threatened, and that's why. And even I told people, Chris Wamalwa and Naomi Cha, if those are the options they have, I wish them the best. If those are the options they have against Mbeere, I wish them the best. But I would love to tell people who are very celebratory or in a celebratory mode with the word of Musalia that he will go to liberate Trans Nzoia. I could have just convinced them. He should just deliver first Vihiga. That's where I come from. He should deliver Vihiga. You should
how
convince the likes of Musosi.
let me ask you, how can he deliver in Trans Nzoia, yet even in the last general election in his constituency, it was not a ANC, I think it was a UDA in Sabati.
Yes, exactly, a UDA. That is what I was telling people, that Musalia Mudavadi is just protecting his job, and he is now he found himself in that quagmire. And who told you? Maybe the government is doing that to make Natembeya so popular, because you know, election is about 1 year or two. Things will change. If Natembeya conquered that land, who told you that Ruto will not reach for him for a working arrangement? Things will change in politics. So we cannot fix our mind today that if Natembeya conquered the area, he must be in opposition or working with the like of Kalonzo. Things will change. And what I want to tell Natembeya is only one thing: the lions do not bargain territory; they fight for the territory. Even in the jungle, they don't bargain. So don't bargain for the territory. Fight for it, even if those are the ramifications or the results or the consequences. Just fight for it. He has conquered peacefully Trans Nzoia. He is now going to the toughest land possible, where Wetangula have held with his clothes for many years, called Bungoma, and is going for it. So it will not be easy. There must be a fight.
Okay. All right, Ayaga, you can just hold on, because don't leave. And Joseph, I want also to bring you in. When you see how the Tawe movement is gaining traction, especially in Western, and remember, if you look at Trans Nzoia County is, I would call it a Cosmo, you know. And in that Cosmo, the Tawe movement and the influence of Natembeya is big, and now it is extending to other parts of the Western Kenya. Could this be the reason behind all this, what is going through? Because remember, even some few months or few months, his home was raided by the anti-corruption unit about his, on how he was dealing, on how he used the money, and he was in the courts, which we're not going to talk about it. But like nowadays, I don't know what has happened with that case, but he has been going through kind of like some challenges in terms of political challenges. Could this one be as a result of his Dawe movement, or the change of politics that he's bringing? Joseph, did you hear me?
Please, can you repeat? Sorry.
Okay, thank you so much. We are seeing Natembeya being this person who is facing many challenges. Ayaga mentioned earlier that the same place is where he was attacked the day they were with even Matiang'i. And remember, the anti-corruption unit also raided his home. And today again is facing the same challenge of violence. Is it because of Dawe movement, or is that for managing political waters in those areas?
I think it's of both. It's of because of the Tawe movement, and also it's because of the, Natembeya has become a force to reckon with, that he has brought even people who are not supposed to be in that coalition together. You look at the likes of Boni Halwale, you find Boni Halwale is now even has left UDA now, is fully in back in even the it's called the DCP candidate, DAP candidates, I mean. So I think that is the issue. The main issue is about the movement. It's not even about Natembeya so much, about the movement that is being created in Western Kenya. But as we are talking about the movement that is being created in Mount Kenya, are in Western Kenya, we cannot leave Natembeya out because he's at center stage in all this. He's one of the people that yesterday I saw when they were shooting, people were calling him the soldier. It portrays it cannot be that he was a soldier. Maybe he was trying to process what is happening, but people saw like he's a soldier, and that is the image that is going to be portrayed there. People are going to say huyu ni soldier imara. You'll hear in the couple of days watu watasema huyu ni jamaa ogopi na ogopi kutishiwa na serikali. So those are the certain things, and I think what happened, the people who are in the government, Akina Musalia Mudavadi and Wetangula, and the likes of Akina Faruk Kibet, they saw the campaigns that were done on the first day when Matiang'i and Kalonzo and the team were there. So they did not want a replica of that, because if I tell you the first day of what they did, those guys, the guys in State House were feeling it. They felt there is something that has hit us, and it is hitting us well. So I think yesterday it was all about to try and disperse these people, not to have this kind of crowds. But unfortunately, it did not happen. The crowds, the people still went on and did their campaigns, even though there was no caps. They damaged the vehicles, they did everything. But I think, Brother Benson, if we are going to enter this politics of goonism, I think everybody is going to have a goal, and it is not going to be business as usual. Because if everybody is going to try and have his own goons, people are going to shed blood. People are going to shed blood. That is what is happening in Homa Bay. In Homa Bay, people are fighting because everybody has goons. So people are killing each other. And I think IEBC need to look at this thing very carefully and very diligently, because if these things are going to still continue happening, IEBC, I think they have not changed. Even if we've changed the commissioner, IEBC has not changed, because yesterday we saw in the papers that one guy was accused, or is not even accused. He was found out that the EACC found him guilty of certain charges of corruption. And still the IEBC went further and wakapitisha makaratasi zake without due diligence. But I don't know how the law is followed. Maybe he cannot only be pronounced until he's found guilty. But I think due diligence is supposed to be done by IEBC according to these things. Because if they are going to start this way, it's not going to be in 2027. I'm not predicting. No, it will not end well. And in 2027, you were told by Ayaga, there is not these two big communities. The big communities are going to be playing it kwa ground. The previous time they have been playing it pale kwa striker. Now this time these two big communities are playing in the midfield.
The majority of them are spectators.
Others are spectators, but some of them, I think, they are playing in the midfield, because if Ruto is looking for votes from the rich Luo community, it means he wants them to play in the midfield. But if and then Kalonzo is looking for votes from Mount Kenya or Matiang'i, they are going to be playing in the midfield. But I know others are spectators. But let us bring the fold to these big other communities. So I think that is about Natembeya. That is the whole issue. He's at the center stage of all this. It's not about whether Tawe or what. He's at the center stage of all these campaigns.
All right. To me, as we conclude on Natembeya, this is what I would say, especially the rise of Natembeya, especially in Western Kenya, with bringing these leaders is complicating matters for 2027, especially for President William Ruto, because, for the longest time, the Western Kenya has never spoken with one voice, especially when it comes to election. Even if you look at their voting patterns, you will find that, as I've always told you, look at the voting pattern is quite much different. The Busia, the Vihiga, and Kakamega will always vote quite much differently with Bungoma and Trans Nzoia. So with Natembeya trying to bring all those counties to vote the same direction or to get another chunk of votes. That one complicates the arithmetic road, especially one for Moses Wetangula, because, you know, if you look at Moses Wetangula has always used, especially his influence of Bungoma to bargain and usually gets good positions, especially in any government that they form or in any opposition. Remember during, I think when he joined Raila, he was able to get a minority in the Senate. Later, he was that post was taken away from him. Then now he's enjoying that speakership because they have negotiated. But if he will not have those numbers, as Ayaga said, he will not have any road to be on the table because there's nothing that he will be bringing. For Mudavadi is done. That is the way I've concluded. Is done because even when you look at the party, when the party was folded, remember when the party was folded and they joined the UDA, whereby the Secretary General was supposed was it the Lamu governor, you know. Ever since that day, there is no any other activity has taken place between the party that united the UDA and Amani Congress. There's nothing. But UDA has continued to be in existence and doing, even filling in candidates. And remember, Mudavadi collapsed his party and they merge those two parties. So which means in this by-election, it was not supposed to be that UDA provide a candidate as a UDA. It was supposed to be Amani Congress and the UDA, there's a name they gave it. So as we speak today, Mudavadi does not have any grounds to talk, especially in Western Kenya. He's done. And that's why even in the early days when they wanted to nominate somebody for Malava, he came up and complained, ule kijana ambaye alisimamishwa. Unajua like kijana mwenye alikuwa nafaa akuwe kijana wa Ijendi. That was the candidate that I think like even Farouk was confronting to be. Yeah, because it was easy to sell. They were going to ride on the sympathy vote that, oh, your father is replacing his father. But what happened, Mudavadi brought this guy. But to me, Mudavadi, in terms of politics, I don't think he has done well. Secondly, I'm also looking at Kabuchai, where the member of Kabuchai, that is Kalasinga, Yaga talked about it. Right now, he's in the Tawe movement. And these are the people that, these are a candidate when he's in parliament, you know, they add value to Speaker of the National Assembly, you know, because if now you do not have member of parliament, what else can you begin with in that area? So that one is making them to panic, so they would do anything, or maybe they would do something like that, because like from the look of things, from accusation that they are giving, they are pointing at Wetangula, you know. So that could have been the reason, because now you are making Wetangula irrelevant by getting the votes that he was supposed to get. Furthermore, you're coming from Trans Nzoia and you're getting traction in Bungoma. So those are some of the things that could create the tension. And as you said earlier, the IEBC should come in, especially on this. First of all, to look at the violence. Secondly, to look at the lot of money that is being pumped into these campaigns, because they go beyond what is required by law. Yeah, especially in those areas. So that is what I can conclude about what happened to the governor of Trans Nzoia Natembeya in Kabuchai, Bungoma County. Maybe Ayaga or Joseph, if you have something to add before we go to the next discussion.
Yes, I think I could add something smaller. I think Musalia Mudavadi really shot his foot when he joined ANC with UDA. That is where he did all the mistakes. If he could have tried to hang on to his party, he could be still a strong candidate. But now people in Western are asking, Mudavadi, where unataka tuende chama gani? You're taking us to a chama which, predominantly these chamas have so much of the majority of the people from somewhere. Like UDA, it is a party coming from the Rift Valley. The more so the Kalenjin community. So they're asking him initially, we unataka kutupeleka wapi? Do you want to take us to UDA so that we be swallowed or something? So I think also that's why you saw Wetangula alikuwa mwana ile party yake inaitwa Ford akataa kuikunja because akikunja atakuwa irrelevant. Yeah. So I think that one is also played out in Musalia Mudavadi becoming a person that has no say in Western Kenya, because I think Musalia Mudavadi now has no say in politics in terms of Western. Maybe small people, but I don't think. There was a time Musalia Mudavadi got 500,000 votes.
Yeah, which was a good
vote from Western. I think if he could have continued with that trajectory, he could have become a Luya kingpin. But now I think along the way he lost his strides.
And that's why, and this one tells you why Farouk Kibet has really camped in Malava, because they are convinced beyond reasonable doubt that that is a seat that cannot be delivered by Musalia Mudavadi. And remember, that constituency, Malava, is where Mudavadi got a member of parliament, But now he has merged the party. He doesn't have a party. He's now appointing somebody, The candidate is his candidate, but he doesn't have that potential. He doesn't have that influence in which.
Musalia Mudavadi did what Gachagua did.
Yeah. So
there is no difference between what Gachagua did and what Musalia Mudavadi did. Musalia Mudavadi sold. If Gachagua did not enter to UDA and he had his own party in Mount Kenya, they had their own party. I don't think right now he could still be the deputy. But now, what to say? Even Musalia Mudavadi, right now, if Ruto want to remove him, what can he do? After he's won the Malava city, Ruto says, tuataka kumtoa atafanya nini? And his seat. And the problem, his seat is nothing. There is no seat called Prime CS. Which seat is called Cabinet Prime CS?
Is a foreign affair. Hiyo ni kitu hata kama amepatiwa,
lakini yeye tu ni CS wa kawaida, foreign affairs. He's not a cabinet secretary. Inaitwa prime cabinet secretary. Yeye ni mkubwa tu wa foreign affairs. And foreign affairs you can be changed. Foreign affairs, it means you're not dealing with the renewal of the country. Inside internal affairs of the country, you are dealing with the external. So, and he has truly failed. Unajua Ruto atakuja aseme Musalia Mudavadi has truly failed. Many people are suffering out there in abroad, and they cannot even be able to get help. So I think this guy has truly failed. When he says he has truly failed, do you think who will save Musalia Mudavadi? Who will save him in parliament?
No, nobody. He doesn't have anybody in parliament to argue on his behalf.
Musalia Mudavadi is done. That's why he said, hata yeye anajua his goose is cooked.
And he was right when he mentioned those words. Hii nini kitoka, kazi yake itaisha. Ayaga, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Here.
Do you have anything to conclude about Natembeya before we go into another discussion?
Yes, well, I can just briefly say that if you look at Natembeya and now you look at the position where Wetangula and Mudavadi has found themselves, because Mudavadi died long time ago politically, he's just waiting for his political beautification, what we call duogeliel in my mother tongue. The problem they haven't realized that. So the person who is now being suffocated politically is Moses Wetangula. And I tell you, look at politics. When the member of parliament from your hometown is the one who is leading the rebellion within your party, know you that the political clock of yours is ticking towards the doom days. So it happened even to Uhuru Kenyatta when Moses Kuria was the one leading the rebellion from within Gatundu South. So I want to tell Masika Wetangula and his supporters that his time is over, and sometimes the generational change is needed for politics.
All right.
So even if they come together, because that threat is what is making I don't think if Oparanya is with them as well, because I have some intel about Oparanya. So the only reason now Musalia and Wetangula is working together is because of the issue of Natembeya.
So Natembeya has decided, the effect of Natembeya has decided to bring them together.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you so much. Before we look at the reality check, especially for the two by-elections that seems to be the ones that everybody's focused on, and to see what the result is going to be, that is to mention Malava and Mbeere North. These two by-elections are very, very important to both President William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua. But before we go there's something that Moses Kuria mentioned. He talked about that IBC should, or anybody should not try to do the nonsense that we saw in Tanzania. That is something that Kenyan buried long time ago. And he had an interview. I don't know whether you saw that.
No, I did not see his interview, Brother Benson.
You did not see that for Moses Kuria?
No, I did not see his interview.
Ayaga, you did not see it? You did?
I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah. When Moses Kuria that they should not try, and the IEBC should not try and do the nonsense that was done in Tanzania, and he said that is something that Kenyans have really passed, and is what do you make of that?
Moses Kuria is a good man. I always love him and disagree with him in equal measures in some of. But if you look at Moses Kuria statements, he always say things that come to pass. So what I want to say is only one.
Yeah.
Even the president, if you have a contestant or a competitor, very well, this is Baba. If I do gerrymandering with Baba's votes, he's a good man. After a few days, he will be on the street, and then we will sit down and take tea. The quagmire that the president has found himself now, he doesn't know who he will be dealing with and the behavior of that person. Or if he's a kind of a person that you can steal his vote and still work with you. Now, and also I have always said, we are heading to an election that is very, very risky. Raila Odinga, many people say Raila Odinga used to have password for this nation. Many people say he's a glue that held this country together. So I think doing those things you see in Tanzania. Tanzania is in 1990, 1960, when we have one party rule. Yeah. So they still have a long way to go. I don't think, even me, that somebody can sit down and try to do what we saw in Tanzania. This country will explode. And we may have no Raila Odinga to come and say, let us put the country together. So I don't think. So we must be very, very vigilant.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And maybe let me just let me see if I can get it for Joseph to hear it about Moses Kuria. Moses Kuria IBC. I think I have one of the audio.
Nyamaza na roho yangu haina amani nikisikia mtu anasema Gachagua usiende. Jana huko Narok wanatishia watu wasijue watu watoke huko. Leo mmeona what has happened in Chwele huko Kabuchai. mpaka risasi karibu auwe natembea. Mimi nataka kuambia serikali na sana sana hapa nimwambie Rais William Ruto directly, the international community is watching. How we conduct these elections is of interest to the international community. Sasa mnafikiria sababu Suluhu amefanya vile amefanya, alitoweza kwenda hiyo ya Tanzania? Jamani, Wakenya si wa Tanzania, Wakenya si wa Tanzania. Msijaribu hapa. It will not be usual. It will not be business as usual in Kenya if you try those monkey things in Kenya. Kenyans' level of tolerance for nonsense is at its lowest. Kenyans cannot tolerate nonsense.
So that is Moses Kuria. He was talking about what has happened, especially including Kabuchai and everything that is happening in the political field right now with the by-election that is going on. And he said that Kenya cannot tolerate that level of nonsense. And because their level of but you know, Moses Kuria makes some sense, because, like, you know, as much as you might disagree with him or the way sometimes he articulates his issues might not be appealing to you, but what what Moses Kuria is saying is true. Because, like, why can't we just compete in ideology and issues? Yeah, what happened? You could have just let Natembeya come and sell his policies together with Kalasinga and support their candidate. They leave, you come, then the people go and vote. But to an extent whereby the violence and even going to the family of Kalasinga and doing all that, attacking the family, their home, and, you know, those are some of the things that this IBC needs to do. And I don't know whether you also watch this. I also watched another documentary. I think it was by Deutsche Welle, if I'm not wrong, DW. I was seeing a Kenyan who, I think he went to Russia, and he went to Russia as an athlete. He was somebody keep props, you know. And what happened? Somebody called him in capital city of Russia. I don't know whether you saw that. And they ended up being recruited as soldiers for Russia. Then when they went for war, they were captured by the Ukraine. So, like, he was explaining how he got that job. And, you know, and they went even to their home. And you could see from the family. So there's so much. Joseph, I will check it and then share it with you. I saw it. I don't know whether you've come across.
No, I truly know people are going. Not even about being recruited. Some even are going out of free will, Brother Benson.
Mm-hmm.
I was even given an invite to go to Ukraine. So but you know, Kenyans like money. So when they look, they see money, they want to go for money, thinking it will be easy. You know, war is not easy. So when they go to the front lines is when they know it's not. I have a friend who has already gone there. Yeah, he already applied.
Akaenda.
So it's Akaenda. People are applying. It's not a wonder. So I think even some Kenyans need to stop also saying that they were put up to this. Some are put up to this, but how can you be put up to something that you don't want? If you don't want, you can even request yourself to be. You can try yourself to be jailed. It's better ushikwe urushwe kwa jela za Russia udeportiwe than you going to a battlefield.
I saw that documentary.
So you telling me that you're going to the battle lines, and then how will you go to Russia, and you tell me that you have gone for work? Okay, you have gone for work, but which kind of work, Brother Benson? You know that right now they are under. It's a fighting zone.
Yeah, but like from the look of things, when I was watching that documentary, this Kenyan citizen, he was not aware. He was not aware.
But does he know there is war there in Russia and Ukraine?
He was not asked about that, but like I'm just from what I heard. Anyway,
But anyway, the government need to do something, because even if they went out of free will or not free will, the government needs to repatriate. Why do we have these embassies in this or these ambassadors in these countries? Why do we need them? If they are not helping anything, why do we need them? Then they should go back home. We don't need them, because if you cannot help even your citizens I don't understand what is the work of an embassy in another country. I don't really understand. What is it? Are they just getting salaries for nothing, or what are we doing? It's better than they go back home. The retirement of certain politicians. That is the retirement base. Certain politicians. So.
Yeah, those documentaries sometimes are, when you watch them, you feel, hey, things are not. Why would that one happen? Anyway, that is that. So, gentlemen, we have a few minutes that we want to at least to look at the realities that will come out, especially when we are looking at the two parliamentary elections, by-election that are coming. That is the one in Mbeere North and the one in Malava. And the reason why we want to check we want to do the reality check of who loses or who wins, and what is going to be the effect, or what is the takeaways, and what you're going to take home, especially for opposition. When you look at this by-election, especially for these two constituencies, there's so much have been invested in them. We talked about the resources, and we also talked about who is behind them and how will it play in the event that somebody wins. And let's start with North Mbeere. North Mbeere election is, I think, is a competition between two people. That is the competition between the president and Rigathi Gachagua. And for Rigathi Gachagua, this by-election is going to prove one thing: his influence. Does he have influence? Can he be the kingpin of Mount Kenya? That is something that this will prove. That in the event that the DC, the DP candidate wins, it will be a plus for Rigathi Gachagua. And we have to look at by what margin have they won. Secondly, from the moment Rigathi Gachagua started to campaign, one of his priorities was to lock President William Ruto out of Mount Kenya and to make sure that he doesn't have any influence. And this constituency or this by-election is one of those that is going to prove that for Rigathi Gachagua. But what about for president? One, the president also will have to prove a point that I still have influence in Mount Kenya. And how is that one going to be proven? One, the mobilization and the resources that has been put in place. Look at how many government officials have camped in Mbeere to do the campaign for that. Because the government officials are representation of president. He might not be there in person, but his presence is being felt. So how is that one going to affect that? So to start with you, Joseph, because that is a place that you know better. In the event that Rigathi Gachagua loses this, because even if you look at DP, I'm not seeing Muturi anywhere. Rigathi Gachagua is overperforming, or is overdoing more than even Muturi himself. In the event that he wins, what will happen to the president?
Thank you for that question, and I'll start it from where you have left it. I think, Brother Benson, the person who is supposed to prove to himself more than the other, I think, should be Kindiki, because Kindiki is the deputy president.
No.
And being a deputy president, you know why I'm saying that? Kindiki, that is a region where Kindiki comes from, hails from. Between Embu, Meru, and Tharaka-Nithi, they are saying that is called Mount Kenya East.
Yeah.
So if you are saying you are coming from Mount Kenya East, because that is what they were propagating from before, and that guy who is coming to your bedroom and trying to take all the votes from you is coming from Mount Kenya West, who is supposed to be having all the jittery and all the agitation? Is it the person coming from the west or the person coming from the east?
The person coming from the east. But remember, Kindiki is a bet. Utasikia kule ile bet imechoma ama bet ijachoma.
Sasa ndio ninasema, Brother Benson, between Kindiki and Rigathi Gachagua, who needs the seat more? Who needs this nini more? Who needs it more?
Kindiki needs it because if it doesn't deliver, it will be approved or it will be show to the president that bet yangu imechoma. Itabidi niangalie bet mahali. So
I think what we can say is Kindiki has more to lose than Rigathi Gachagua, but all of them need this seat. All of them need it. What I know is somebody will lose. Unajua Gachagua hakuna kitu anaweza lose. He's already impeached. But one thing, Kindiki has more to lose than Rigathi Gachagua, but Rigathi Gachagua needs the seat more than Kindiki needs it, because it is going to prove a point of what he's trying to do, which is unifying factor of the Mount Kenya. He wants to become the kingpin, Nobody, it's not hidden now. He already said that he's the kingpin of the mountain. So you want to stamp authority and show that he's the one who is, if you need to talk to any of the person in the region, or if you want to get votes from Mount Kenya, you're going to go through him. So I think that is something that is going to be, that is the real play out, which is going to be there. But in terms of losing, the person who is losing the most is Kindiki, if he's going to fail on these by-elections. But I'll want to come to the thing that you said about CSs being a representation of the president. I think we got it wrong, because CSs are not supposed to be campaigning in the campaign trail.
But they're supposed to.
That's why it's wrong. They can be campaigning, but it is not, and I don't know what is IEBC doing about it. Because it is not supposed to be right. You're not supposed to be a cabinet secretary campaigning in the campaign trail. I saw in the time of Uhuru them Ruto bringing problems where CS is campaigning. Why is it now sitting well with him when CSs are campaigning? I think this one, if we need it, we need to take it. We need to take it serious. And IEBC need to take it serious. Now they are becoming a joke. IEBC is becoming a joke, and they need to take everything serious, because you cannot be having government officials. You know why in the constitution we said we don't want CSs to be campaigning? Why? What was the reason in the constitution when we said we don't want CSs to not campaign?
Because they should be neutral to serve Kenyans.
Another thing is, when they come, they are going to come with a lot of liquid cash, which is going to be done from those certain ministries they are doing. CSs are getting a lot of money for running their ministries. So these certain CSs are going to come, and the CSs are the ones who are, in the country of Kenya, the CSs are the only one who goes with the flag, apart from the president and the chief justice and the speakers. The second in line is only CSs. So they are not easy people. They are powerful people. Being a CS is not an easy position. It's not a gentle position like that. If somebody anatembea na bendera ya Kenya, Brother Benson, kwa gari yake. So I think Mbeere situation is dire. And what will happen is, it is a game of might. And the government is going to still use all the resources. You heard that Muturi had brought some speculation saying that people have been told that in the election day when you ukipiga kura unafaa uchukue picha, upige picha after umepiga hiyo kura, upige picha, then after you are going to be given 5,000. So
But now,
it is becoming a sinkhole of corruption, eh? And now even to make yesterday I had my brother, another brother of mine, we always talk politics on the side. He was telling me that Wamudende has been given the last nail in the coffin because of the expose that was removed yesterday by Standard. And people are talking about how maybe Nani gave the green light. It's called Gideon Moy to put the last nail on the coffin. But I think
how can you, because like you have to look it also in positive way that when that expose might have taken place, that would be like a way of saying that, okay, this is what has made him not to perform well.
Who
they're losing?
Who not to perform well?
Like there are people, or the people who are supporting the UDA candidate might say that the newspaper might have decampaigned them. I mean,
yeah, that's why I was saying. But evidence is evidence, Brother Benson. It's not about what UDA will say or what they will not say or what United Opposition. I'm even really loving it that the United Opposition is not even majoring with this issue. Have you seen them majoring with it? No. They're not majoring with it because this already... Brother Benson, I think when we are talking about Mount Kenya people, I think you are going to see their very unique brand of people.
Okay.
People know there is no civic education in Mount Kenya, but there is civic education in Mount Kenya. You see, like that song which was removed, that one for Tuwokera Tene. It was somehow like civic education. It went through all of Mount Kenya. Now, let me tell you, if that news of Wamudende is going to spread, that show there. You see that show? Even there in Mbeere, Katikati huko, it is going to spread to them there.
No, that is going to spread because it's trending. Everybody is doing it.
But there is people who are in the village, they don't know about these issues. It is people who know about them in towns, major towns. But when I'm telling you, Mount Kenya, it goes even to the deep down there. To ule show ule aelewi. And it's going to be told, huyu ni mwizi, huyu ni mkora, huyu unaona ameiba pesa za hewa. So watakuwa wakiambiwa ameiba pesa za hewa. But Mbeere North by election will be a hard one, Brother Benson.
Okay.
It will not be a simple walk in the park. Even Nani knows. That's why you see his camping there. Rigathi Gachagua. He knows it's not a walk in the park for him.
All right. Let me bring in Ayaga, and we want to look at it in terms of percentage. Let's take that in the event that Ayaga, in the event that the UDA candidate loses this election, but he loses this election with let's say that over 50%. Like for instance, we're talking about if the turnout would be low, and we would say that the winning candidate got maybe around 56, and the UDA get like 44. What does that one mean, especially when you look at president in a place whereby he has been decampaigned, and a place whereby Rigathi Gachagua was saying that we want to wipe his existence in this area, but he's still getting 44% in the event. I'm not saying that was what he's going to get. What does that one mean to president and even to the opposition?
Okay, thank you. That is what I have been saying, and it seems Joseph doesn't want to agree with me, but the events at Mbeere North now confirm what I was saying before, and I still maintain, if something is not done, the UDA candidate will win. If he will lose with a very small margin. And politics is perception, the perception that will be out there that Ruto still have 40% or 30% of Mount Kenya. And that perception is what always bring the rigging. You will see the opinion polls giving, yes, Ruto will lose Mount Kenya, but with 60 to 40. which is, I think, better for him because he will get other friends from somewhere. So in this election in Mbeere, and that's why Rigathi Gachagua has camped there. He has a candidate in Magarini. He better leave Magarini to ODM and not even go there to campaign for his candidate, but he has searched for another party's candidate, DP, in Mbeere. That tells you and confirm what I was saying. If they are not careful, it might tilt the other way because that margin is so small. I've even seen those opinion poll. The margin is so small. It's about 58 to 40 something. So in
Yep.
any event, anything can happen, and you never know the turnout of a by-election can also shock everybody. I know, so that tells you that there is a lot of work to be done in Mbeere by the Rigiji side. Whoever need that seat the most is Rigathi Gachagua, not even Kindiki. Kindiki need a percentage, a perception to bargain with William Ruto, which I think he will achieve. For him, it's good to go. If he can get above 35%, then he will go and say, now there is a strong political wave, but we can still manage 35%. If Rigathi Gachagua loses this election, then we will say Rigathi Gachagua is a paper tiger.
Okay, Joseph, the reason why we are looking at percentage because it will be like a benchmark that the president is going to use and to test his popularity in Mount Kenya East. And let's say that in the event, according to those polls that we are seeing of 42 to around 58, look at if that trend is going to maintain that trend, out of the total votes that will be cast on the Mount Kenya East, if president can get 42% of those votes, it is something that should worry the opposition because they might win, yes, but you are winning with a smaller margin. They only prove that can worry president if he loses in a landslide, whereby the candidate of the opposition is going to have like 78% and he's having something like 20. If he gets something below 30, then that one should worry the president. But if he gets something above 30, that president would be sitting pretty. The only people who should now start calculating their move well is the united opposition, including Rigathi Gachagua.
Let me tell you something, and I'm going to tell Eric Kayaga today. Wamudende is not even going to surpass 20%. I'm telling you. We are going to be here with you. I'm telling you. And he's not going even to surpass 20%. You see things, things are unfolding. Even Ayaga does not want to accept. You see that thing that unfolded yesterday in the newspapers?
Yeah.
Brother Benson, I'm telling you, it has really rocked up the ship. It has really rocked down the ship of Wamudende. If he had, that chance has been limited to zero. Because I think something that Mount Kenya people hate is corruption.
Yeah.
And in the by-election, if in case that election will be free and fair, that is. Yeah. Because the government is trying not to steal the votes. But if that is a free and fair election, then will be beaten hands down. And I'll come here back and on Friday or Saturday, and I'm going to tell Ayaga, see what I was telling you, because I know how they think. Wamudende cannot get 40% in Mbeere North. I'm telling you. I think even 20 will be an issue.
But and now because we are not saying that, but hypothetically, we are looking at the hypothesis. Hypothetically,
Brother Benson, we cannot look at it hypothetically because we are looking at it at polls. You know me, I don't see election being won at polls. We win election. That is just a projection. Because if in the case we look at polls, Uhuru Kenyatta had been told that he's going to to be able to get votes in 2022. Votes amounting to almost 30-40%. But when it came to the real action, Brother Benson, it was another game changer. I think even the thing that even was able to help Uhuru Kenyatta was only one county, which was Kiambu. So that time I was supporting Uhuru Kenyatta and the Azimio, but it is. I don't believe polls anymore. Polls can be projected as the way you like it, because even we have seen certain polls, some saying 71, some saying 52, some saying 27. We don't even know which polls are correct. So what I'll go by is the people of Mbeere North and what they are going to do in 27. It's remaining. There is no even need for rush. It is remaining how many days? 4 days today. It's remaining 4 days. And it's only 2 days because the other 2 days. But one thing I know, Gachagua is not going to let the government bundle this election.
Okay.
He's not going to let them. It's better they are going to camp there. And I'm telling you, it will be a fiasco in that in certain police stations, because here we need agents. They are going to be having agents who are. It is not going to be easy. It's going to be a fiasco there all through. And I think even they are going to be having even police shooting or something.
All right.
Shooting up in the square and then tear gas and all kind of stuff.
To me, even though to me, I'm looking at it hypothetically in politics, because like from all the indication that we are seeing, from all the indication, that is something. Even me, who is not coming from Mbeere, from all the indication, I would see that DP candidate is winning from all the indication, but until the voting is done. But now, remember, we are looking at the context. I mean, the mashindano. I mean, of the deputy president and the president, the former deputy president and the president, and that's even why that when you see Rigathi taking his time, investing his time more than Muturi, who his candidate is on the ballot. Which means what he wants, one, he wants to make sure that the win should be convincing win, not just winning. Because if the win is convincing, it means going towards 2027 is good. You can now gauge and point out your weaknesses, identify your weakness. Where did we not do right? But from the look of things, the win or the result that we've gotten as favor us, but it should be convincing. If it is not, then it means that coming to 2027 general election, it might repeat itself, whereby you can get even 68 to 38. But if you see, like, if you're getting 38, talking about, let's say, like, how many votes do we have from Central?
It's not projected well, because some say 6 million, some say 5. We cannot really know, because why we cannot really know, because last election they voted 4 million and 1 million for Raila Odinga. So they are saying that is almost 5. But the last election, majority of the people never went to vote. So you can never really project, because Mount Kenya last election, most of them did not go for the polling. So because even most of them were saying they don't have a good candidate to vote for.
So now, for just, this is hypothetically, we are not saying that these are the figures, but now let's work with 5 million. But in the event, let's say that you're working with 5 million, in the event that of the total votes in 2027 general election is going to be like 5 million out of it, and we say that projection, so we are using with the projection that is going to come from the Mbeere, let's say that it will be 38%. That out of that they get 38% of this. It means 38. That is 40. That is what, 15. 19. So which means out of 30 or out of 5 million, if president gets 38, we are talking of him getting something like 2 million. So Rigathi Gachagua will get 3 million.
Let me tell you, Brother Benson, if there is somewhere you see that they vote 100% up to 90, it is central. But you'll find the other candidate has 10%. Or is it something that we have not seen?
No.
Let me ask you one thing. How much votes did Raila get in 2022? What percentage?
It was less than even 30%.
Yeah. And you know at that time Uhuru was supporting?
Uhuru was supporting Raila.
Yeah, and that is what is going to happen in 2027.
Yeah, I know.
Ruto is not even going to be having a support of any person called Uhuru or anybody.
So
do you think the likes of Akina Kimani Ichung'wah are the ones who are going to tilt the balance in Mount Kenya? If Uhuru could not tilt. If Uhuru could not tilt the balance, can Kimani Ichung'wah even try to tell people to tilt the balance? You know, there are certain things even we look at, even not even need to go inside of the deep of understanding. We just look them on bare ground. You cannot be that Uhuru Kenyatta, you are a kingpin and you are unable to bring more than 30% to Raila Odinga, but you expect that Akina Kimani Ichung'wah and the likes of the MPs. But first of all, let me tell you, Brother Benson, those guys will be fighting for their lives. They will not be fighting for William Ruto. They are fighting for their lives in 2027. They will be fighting for their by-elections because I'm going to assure you, most of those MPs will not come back to a parliament. Most of them. So they will be fighting for their own votes than the William Ruto one. So, and as we go by, you know, Mount Kenya people are very strange. As we go near to the elections, many of them will shift. Many of those MPs will shift. I'm telling you. So I was looking at Mbeere North. Mbeere North has 140 people, 140,000 people.
140.
So let's expect, or not everybody will vote because that is the population. So let's say, for example, they vote 80,000 or 70,000. Let's say 80.
80.
Yeah. So when they vote 80 and the candidate of DP, we say, for example, gets 60,000 or 50,000 from the votes.
So 60.
How much is the 30% of 30% this guy getting?
So 30% of 80. Let me do 30% so
because we need to do it hypothetical.
That is 8. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So 30% should be like 24,000.
Yeah, you see, supposed to be 24,000.
So, and that's when we are doing because like these are not real figures, but we are giving hypotheses.
Hypothesis.
Yeah. So and this one is going to be our benchmarking, and we are saying that okay, if President William Ruto is going to lose, he's losing by 30%. He's not going to win, but he's losing by 30%. If he's losing by 30%, especially to him, that will be a plus.
But it's not a plus. You know why I'm telling you it's not a plus, Brother Benson?
Yeah.
You cannot be in a place where you have a deputy president, you have a CS, and you have a governor who is running the party called UDA, that you are getting 30%. What do you expect in the other constituencies of Mount Kenya, where they don't have governors, they don't have CSs, they don't have party leaders, they don't have deputy president? What do you expect will happen in Mount Kenya West?
So, like
you know, one thing that is happening is many people think that Mount Kenya East is favorable for Ruto. You know, many people think, even when they were fighting, you were being told Mount Kenya East, Mount Kenya West. So, if Mount Kenya East is doing Ruto and is making Ruto to get 30%, let's say for say, so it means the DP candidate will be having 70. So, how much percentage do you think the Mount Kenya West will be bringing to Ruto in 2027? Because that one is being told as the radical one. And you know, Brother Benson, where the votes are, and I want you to go and count. Just go and count the votes. Where are they in Mount Kenya?
Tony, let me. Tony is saying that our Gen Zs is gonna save us. If you
Yeah.
look at the report from IBC the other day, the latest report that they said that the voter registration turnout was quite much low, and it was all over the country. It was only 90,000 people had already registered, and that one was the Gen Z. So, and if you look that number, especially with what we saw during the protest, it means the protest could have been the driving factors that could have taken them to register as more voters. But we are not seeing this. So if in the event that that one happens, then it means that the Gen Z are not going to create a more impact, especially in the next general election, if they don't register as voters.
I think what will happen, Brother Benson, is yeah, maybe they'll continue taking the votes. Maybe let's wait. Maybe it is a Kenya thing ile tunafanyaga mara za mwisho, the last rush hour. But what I know, not only Gen Z, there's 8 million people who did not vote in the last election. So what does that mean in our elections? Do you think even this time, let me ask you a question, Brother Benson. Do you think Luo Nyanza will come out to vote as they were voting for Raila in 2022 for Ruto?
No, you know, let me to answer you that there are so many takeaways that will determine how especially they are going to vote. Let's say that in the event that all this is happening in ODM is settled. Yeah. Because like when you look at ODM, Kenyans are never in a rush when it comes to registration. Yeah, thank you so much, Adonya.
That one is difficult.
Anasema Kenya ni ukweli. So when you look at you're looking at the Nyanza part, first of all, we have to look at, is ODM settled? If they settle well and speak in one voice, then you're going to look at how are they going to conduct their nomination. You know, are they going to give? Because another thing is also that you know that the party loyalist. There's somebody who we feel, you know, like those who have independent mind, they can vie with the party, but they have their own independent mind, especially when it comes to making decision in parliament. They will not go by the majority, you know. And if they realize that you are that kind, then sometimes you may not be given, especially if you're coming in the rural. You know, people in town, because it's a Cosmo, you can understand them. Yeah, but now
I think also there will be voter apathy in certain regions because
no, especially for Nyanza, there will be voter apathy.
If I think even in Mount Kenya, you don't just say Mount Kenya will not have voter apathy. There can be voter apathy. People will wake up and say, hata tunashinda tukienda kupiga kura lakini mambo imekuwa the same. Tulienda tukapigia hii serikali tukidhania inatubadilishia maisha. It's still the same. Hata sioni haja ya kuamka. So voter apathy it will be happening. I think the only place that will not be having voter apathy, Brother Benson, is Western. If Western is going to be given a deputy candidate, Ukambani, if they are going to be given the running mate, and it's called Kisi. Yeah, those are the places you not see voter apathy.
Okay, Father Dan, we've spoken about Natembeya. What happened to Natembeya? How he escaped death by whiskers. Yeah, he was almost his bodyguard, you know, decided to come. I don't know why he was not scared. He was just staring at the way the sound is coming from until the bodyguard had to come and push him into the car. And they actually, you know.
But I think people are going to say ilikuwa courage, lakini labda unajua kila mtu ana process things differently.
So let's read from what Midorash is saying. The Mbeere by-election is not a contest between former DP and Ruto, but is Kindiki test. Ruto understands Mount Kenya is gone. He's now relying on marginalized areas. He's political genius. Yes, but also it's all going to test whether the bet yake ilichoma, because remember the by-election that is happening in Mbeere is a creation of the president. The president created it.
What? I don't understand, Brother Benson.
The by-election in Mbeere is a creation of the president.
Yeah, it's a creation of the president.
And
but do you know one thing is Muturi was coming from Mbeere.
Yes.
He comes from there. So it means he took a seat from Mbeere and returned it to Mbeere. So it's like he did a revenge mission, eh?
No, that was not the case. That could be one of the cases why I took it from Mbeere. But like, if you look at Mbeere, does it mean that of all the Mbeere residents who are learned and who have not contested for an election, they could have not been appointed to that position if it was a matter of position being given to Mbeere?
I think, Brother Benson, the thing that is there, Ruto does not understand Mount Kenya. He does not understand anything of what Mount Kenya is. I think he still thinks it's a. Let me tell you, Brother Benson, when these guys are done with you, they are done with you. There is nothing you can try to change their mind to tell them and convince them of any other thing. I'm telling you, even right now, if Rigathi Gachagua can go to the government, Ruto goes with him. These guys have decided, Brother Benson. One thing, let me tell you, Ruto does not understand Mount Kenya very well, like the way he understands other regions. Because Mount Kenya is very delicate. When they go to one side and one voice, they go well with one voice. So I think Midora's talking about his political genius. There's no political genius in us. The people who are there down in the grassroots, those ones is talking about the marginalized areas. There is no marginalization there. Those people talk in one voice. All of them, starting from the Mbeere, going to the Dharakas, going to the Kikuyus, going to the, they talk one voice. But I don't need to say this one because we will see it in Mbeere. We see it in Mbeere. It is coming in 4 days. You understand what I always tell you.
So this is what I think, especially when I'm looking at it. Remember, the president created this one. I would say is what we call to play political games. Remember, before appointment of Ruto as CS, he had already appointed Kindiki to come as a deputy president. Then the same area, the same Mount Kenya East, after firing Muturi, or after disagreeing with Muturi, he still goes and take a sitting MP. Yeah. At the time of taking that sitting MP, he knew the IEBC was not in place. Who was going to represent them? Yeah. And this was a way to tell the people of Mbeere or the people of that area that, see how we love you. And how do we love you? Your son, we disagreed, but due to the fact that I love you so much, or I feel that you are our friends, I decided to take your son to be in the executive. And remember, the MP that he was picking to be in the executive as a CS was supporting him in parliament. So which means the effect of his bills to be passed, was very easy. Yeah, but why was he doing that? If this guy was a rebel to him, or this guy was not dancing to tune of his politics, he would say that, okay, for me to bring you so that I can bring somebody who might win there to support me when it comes to passing bills, that could have made sense. Yeah. So
I think, Brother Benson, where we are losing it is. Oh, you want to finish?
I think this is his own creation to make the Eastern have a conversation of how the love we have for them.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to come in there. I think what you're saying is true. Some of it. He wants to prove that he has been in love with Mount Kenya East. I told you this is a battle. He's trying to get votes from Mount Kenya East. But the problem is, how many people has he asked from Mount Kenya East since he came as a president since he became a president in Kenya? How many people have he asked in Mount Kenya East?
Who? Muturi and who?
He asked Linturi.
Yeah, Linturi.
So, and do you expect him that he's going to keep Ruku if they have been won the by-elections? I'm telling you, I'm seeing a scenario where he's going to remove Ruku. And if you remove Ruku, he's just creating enmity. That 30% maybe or 20 will get even 2027, it will be even lower. It will not even be that. That is the major issue in this politics game. And I'm telling you, Brother Benson, we are taking it as very upper top layer. But when we go deep inside Kule Chini, what I know, you see these MPs, most of them would like to retain their seats. And that's why I'm telling you, this by-election will determine everything for Gachagua. Because if Gachagua wins this by-election, the next chapter that will come is Mount Kenya MPs are going to start shifting Ruto's camp. And if they start shifting Ruto's camp, now that would be even the worst thing he'll ever see. Because now imagine you don't have even MPs. Because right now, the people who are still holding on to him are the MPs. I know MPs, certain MPs who cannot be able to leave the camp, but most of the MPs will see the firepower and say, huyu jamaa bwana, kama nataka kuendelea kukaa kuwa MP, nitabidi tu niseme tu one term. Juu sasa nimesha kula ya kutosha, sasa wacha tu niseme one term. That is what is going to happen. And you remember, there is a certain scenario I will tell you about the voting of Rigathi, ouster of Rigathi Gachagua. When they were trying to ouster Rigathi Gachagua, Brother Benson, what happened?
They could not get.
They had taken almost 200 and something signatures.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah.
From MPs, it was almost 270. It was quite a number. But when they went to the floor of the house to vote, let me ask you, the MPs like Akina Kagushia, because they had signed this motion, the MPs like Akina, so many MPs, Jen Kiara, the MPs like Akina, that one, another one is called who? I'm forgetting his name is from that region. So many MPs, almost even Didi Nyoro. You remember Didi Nyoro, why he was removed? Why was Didi Nyoro removed from the accounts committee? He did not support what he said when he was voting the ouster of Rigathi Gachagua. So that is the question I want to ask you, Brother Benson. They quite so and they tried to remove themselves from that oustering because most of them, they went to the ground and they knew na kweli ground haisemi vile tunasema. So how many members of parliament do you think that are going to shift camp after this by-election?
No, I don't think they might shift camp immediately. I think like they will wait until towards 2027 because you also know that maybe that fear that they usually have, that they would try to pretend to work, but immediately, because like something that also I tend to observe, especially majority of governors from Mount Kenya, they do not involve themselves in this daily politics. They're so much quiet, majority of them. I've never seen.
And have you asked yourself, Brother Benson, why?
I've never seen Matangi so much involved in the Rigathi Gachagua or President Ruto politics. I've never seen the governor for is called who?
For Nyandarua. For Nyandarua County.
Nyandarua County. We also have Barua is Kangata.
Yeah. Most of them, you don't see them in this kind of things.
But now, let me say something. Let me say what Father Danny is saying here before I do something, that Ndindi Nyoro is just a game being played on us by, yes, that is something that people have always said about Ndindi Nyoro.
Yeah, he's a game.
Yeah, but now when you look at we were talking about statistics in terms of numbers and all that. And in the event that the DP candidate wins this, what's going to happen? The people who are going to be affected so much, the first casualty is the governor of that area. Because remember, she's a governor. She doubles up at the same as the UDA chair. But even from the look of things, it means she's not going to be sure to get her second term based on what is going to happen. And I was just reading some of the comments until I came to realize that people were telling her to go to Teso, I don't know, Busia. I don't know where. That's where he was married. Did you see those comments?
I'm telling you, things will come up. Will come up about.
I thought that I started to wonder why Teso and Busia. You know, hebu tuambie hii mambo ya Teso na Busia inatokea wapi?
Yeah, I think she was from there. The husband maybe is from there. And let me say one thing that you said about with Yaga when you were here.
Mm-hmm.
The Ruto might get 20 or 30 the way you are saying it. I'm going to go by your finding. Mm-hmm. He might get 30. But what is determined? Is it the percentage you got, or you have been beaten? Because you know the problem you forget, Brother Benson, is you can get that percentage, but if the guy who was campaigning against you has won you with maybe we say 60%, because it cannot be 50-30, it will be maybe 60-30. So
Mm-hmm.
he has won you by 60-30. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is running through the minds of the voters at that time? Is it the 30-60, or it is already Karish has won?
So there are two scenarios that you have to look at. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the two scenarios, the voters themselves, the percentage will not be running on their mind, because like their mind will be, we've won this election. But at a politician like President William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua, they will be so much on the percentage, because remember, what usually determines how you do your politics is the strategies and what are the information or the feedback. You know, the figures are usually the feedback that makes you to make those decisions and see where your loopholes and your weaknesses are. And the reason why I was bringing that is about on how, because for instance, when you look at how people are talking, or when you get the feedback from the people, you will find that when you go to Nyanza right now, the president is still not sure, with the absence of Raila Odinga, whether he can get all the votes from Nyanza, whether with the voter apathy or not with voter apathy. You know, you're not very sure of that. That the way Raila used to get it with that voter apathy, you're not very sure. Yeah. So that is there. That one also coming to your mind. When you go to Western too, you may tend that, okay, we had a broad-based government with Raila, we signed this, and Raila told us to be here. And Raila used to kind of like control almost 3 counties out of those 5. You know, that is Kakamega, Vihiga, and Busia. You know, those counties, when you look at them, they're all ODM governments, you know. So still, you're not very sure, because even Mudavadi that you might be banking on, who is coming from the counties that has always voted for Raila, he's not even doing well. Furthermore, he doesn't have a party.
Brother Benson, you know why I asked about, yeah, that is a very good observation, but
yeah.
You know why I asked that question is, how much percentage did Kawanjiko get in the by-election for Kiamba?
I don't know, maybe
we don't even remember.
Yeah,
we don't even remember, because of what we remember. What the only thing we remember was Kawanjiko beat the candidate of Jubilee like nonsense. That is the only thing we remember.
But you know, with that, if you now go to the, especially the people who were in charge of President William Ruto, the strategist in the President William Ruto campaign, those numbers, they did have it, and that was a very clear indication for him that Central Kenya is winning. He was very much on the percentage.
No, it's not even about the percentage. It was so much on the person has won. That one was what was about that. Nioneshe Kenyatta have gotten an MP in your area. That is what it's all about. It's not a percentage. Percentage does not matter, Brother Benson. Hata ukipata 30%, upate 30%, yeah. You cannot, Brother Benson, one thing you cannot do, then let me tell you one thing you cannot do. You cannot take by-elections of Mbeere and transport it as it is the by-election of Mount Kenya. That is one thing you cannot do.
Let me tell you the reason why I feel the strategy, the figures work. I can remember in 2013, right? That is the first time we were voting the MPs. That's when it changed from councillors to members of county assembly, right? The first time. So what happened was this: we were around Kisumu. We were in another ward there. The person who won in nomination was not given the certificate. Yeah. And we saw during the nomination, the numbers that he won with, you know, and he was not given the certificate. And then what we concluded, yeah, that we still have a chance. And what made us to believe we still have a chance, because we were looking at the areas that were densely people registered at voted for him. It was only a place that it was so much dense, but if you look at how he lost that place, he lost with a small margin, then we say, okay, now this is what is going to happen. Now, go get any affiliate party that is associated with where Baba is. And we went with the party of Domingo Magara, and we came. And since we knew where our strengths were, we concentrated on our weakest, where we were weak. With one of the things that we used one, the propaganda, and secondly, we used the indoors. That you find that there were a group of people that you know, those false promises, especially when it comes to politics, yeah. But there's also those real people who are in those areas that what you are going to do. And I tell you, out of those percentage, if you look at our mapping, what we got on the nomination was reflected on the election. So percentage will always assist you on how to make the decision. And when you look at the election that is coming, for instance, that people talk, because like people talk, and we know where people are saying that how president is unpopular. Yeah. So what will happen? The president will not go for the highest vote, but the president will tend to look at how to collect smaller portions of those votes. By the time you realize that, you will find that he has numbers.
Let me disagree with you, Brother Benson.
Yeah.
And I'm disagreeing with you and Ayaga. You know, in Kiamba, Kawanjiko got how many votes? 21,733. 21,700. Yeah? Kawanjiko.
Translated to what percentage?
No, let me give you the figures first, then you tell me how much percentage.
Yeah.
You know, Karidinjama got how much? Kawanjiko got 21,773. You have written it down. 773. Do you know how many votes Karidinjama got? Yeah?
21,000.
773.
773.
Yeah, 773. Do you know how many votes Karidinjama got?
Njama got
21,263.
21,000.
263.
21,263.
Yeah. So how many votes did he leave him with? Around 500. Only 500 votes. 500. And you know Kiamba is in Kiambu.
Yes.
Kiamba is in Kiambu, but in the national election, the national election, the percentage that Raila got, you told me he never got even 30%. Do you remember? You told me that yourself. You told me. That's why I told you. I came here. I told you one thing. You cannot take Mbeere as a place of getting to know how many votes Ruto is going to get in 2027, because it's not a real reflection of what is happening in the ground. If there is so much things that is happening in the ground, not only that is Mbeere. I told you that one. You can take it as Mount Kenya. Mount Kenya is can deal in certain numbers of vote, because them, you know, they are not too much hard on like the way Mount Kenya West politics is. So that's why I was saying you cannot. That's why I was saying Ayaga, you cannot really know in terms of by-elections, because if you look at that by-election, you cannot know the numbers in terms of by-election. That was a by-election that was in Kiambu. It means the people are 50-50.
So when you look at this, 50-50. When you look at this, and you look at when you compare it with all counties going towards the election of 2022, which counties at least gave Raila a vote?
I think the only place that Raila got a vote too much was only in, and even they don't say it is too much because they are compiling it. They are compiling the votes. They were compiling the votes in Mount Kenya, all of them. And you know, the problem is Kiambu is cosmopolitan. Kiambu, you look at the areas like Udhiru. Udhiru, so many people are staying there. It's cosmopolitan. That region is cosmopolitan, most of the. But if you look the areas like Nyeri, Brother Benson, how many votes was Raila getting?
Okay, all right.
Almost 10%. You see,
10%.
So let us not talk about 2022 elections. We are going to talk about 2027.
Okay.
I'm telling you, 2022 people did not have any makasiriko with Raila. That are just politics which are played. Right now, Mount Kenya people are angry with William Ruto.
All right.
So how do you think it's going to reflect in the ballot? I think even some cases you'll be seeing William Ruto getting 5%.
Okay, thank you.
Because first in the West, I'm telling you, I understand. You see the West? The West, I'm talking about Nyeri. I'm talking about Moranga. I'm talking about which other constituency? Kiambu. And you know, and also we are going to take parts of Nyahururu because we are going to call them from this side, no?
Yep.
So those sides are very delicate. Those sides. Parts of Embu, Meru. Even if you go and look at the election for 2022, Raila got vote from Meru.
Yeah, Meru was doing good for Raila.
Yeah. But now the problem is how many votes can Meru bring that can be able to challenge the votes in Mount Kenya East? That is the problem. How many votes will the Mount Kenya East challenge with the Mount Kenya West?
So that's
really the issue. That's really the issue. And that's really because if you look at a constituency like Mbeere, Ruiru constituency is 2 times Mbeere.
So
it's a bigger issue. That's why I told you cannot take perception with the 30. Ruto cannot take this. Even him, he knows in his head. Even if I say 30, the thing that we remember, I've taken you to Kiamba by election so that I ask you. You don't even remember how many percentage the candidate got, because what we were interested in is Kawanjiku winning. You know what that perception brought? You know what perception brought for Kawanjiku winning? Some people, they could have voted for Uhuru at that time from Kiamba. But that perception of Kawanjiku has won. It took everything off the block. People saw now Ruto has come in now. Ruto is going to win these elections in Mount Kenya. So it took. That's why I'm telling you, if that is going to be the perception, the DP candidate will win even 2027. The people who are supposed to campaign now, it will be campaign mode. Watu watakuwa wakisema king. Watu watakuwa wakiongea kuhusu. Let me tell you, after the by election, I got 50%, 30%. No, it will be all about Deputy Rigathi Gachagua is the kingpin of the mountain. That will be the topic. I don't want to be kingpin. It will not be at 30 or 50. it will be about who has won the election and who. Yes, the percentage itakuwa mzuri. It can help Ruto to gauge, but you cannot gauge within only one county. How we are one constituency. You cannot gauge a full election with one constituency. And the problem is that constituency, the one in the west, you have taken out everybody. You're taking them out. So how do you think they are feeling? So you cannot gauge with the whole of Mount Kenya with one Mbeere constituency, but you can gauge Mount Kenya East. You can gauge Mount Kenya East. You can gauge, but you cannot gauge the other West.
So let's wait and see the percentage that are going to come, and I can see our.
Yeah, but Father Dan has told you what matters is winning, because I know what matters is the percentage. Even nobody looks at it. I'm telling you, even if they are going to win with 700 votes. Kareri Jama was beaten. Do you know Kareri Jama was a very good candidate, Brother Benson?
Yeah, I know.
He was very strong, but he was won by 500 votes. But we don't talk about Kareri Jama was very close. We talk about Kawanjiko won the election.
All right. Let's read the comments, then we can. My brother has come. I need to ask him a question here. Nafikiri mko 90% kwa kutusaidia, so be in every day, and to our brothers and sisters, make sure anyone with picture of Githinji of is or on a billboard vote, then vote them out. Okay, that is what matters in by elections is winning, not how much. Let's see what Tony also says here. Ben, usichanganyikiwe please. Which numbers can he have? Please be serious, my bro. Ruto anajipanga na kasokon what the IBC. All right. We were just giving an opinion, and thank you everyone. Msimama barigani kakangu.
Yeah. Safi.
Okay sana. Hebu nikuulize swali. Swali ambalo labda tunauliza hapa ni IBC. Joseph, mute kidogo. Wacha nini ako kwa simu. So ndugu yangu, we maoni yako vipi ukiona haya ambayo yanatokea? Kuna pesa ambayo inatumika mingi sana, na pia tunaona kwamba kuna vurugu ambao inafanywa na wanasiasa. Vile vile tunaona wale ambao wameajiriwa na serikali ambao sheria inasema kwamba wawezi kuwa watu ambao wanapiga siasa, wako pale wanapiga siasa. IBC watafanya nini?
Sijalipata vyema hili swali kaka.
Okay. Wacha tena nikuulize. Mimi nataka kusikia maoni yako sana sana kutoka IBC. Wanaweza kufanya jambo lipi lenye linaweza kuwa la busara kwa watu ambao watapiga kura, ama kwa maeneo ambao labda tumeona kwamba vurugu vimetokea kama pale Kabuchai? Hiyo ni la kwanza. La pili, tunaona kwamba pesa ambazo zinatumika sana sana na wale ambao wanaegemea upande wa serikali wanakuja pale na pesa ambao imezidi kiwango ambacho sheria kimeweka, na vile vile wale ambao bado tuko wa serikali ambao sheria haijawaruhusu kukua katika siasa ama kupiga kampeni, lakini hao bado wanaendelea tu. Sasa IBC itafanya ni iwawache tu ama wachukue hatua?
Kwanza tuangalie kwamba IBC yenyewe kwanza imefumua kinamna gani, imetengenezwa kinamna gani. Kisha tuangalie kwamba kivyo vyote vile, unajua siku zote likupigalo limekufunza. Na huwa mara nyingi kwetu Pwani tunasema kosa la mwaka huu ni marekebisho ya mwakani, yani ya mwaka unaofuata. So tuangalie mizizi na misingi ya IBC kivyo vyote vile, tuishi kama wananchi, tusiweke matumaini pale kwamba watafuata sheria, kwa sababu wale wamewaeka wako juu ya sheria. So tumi sitaki tuweke sana matumaini sana makubwa pale kwamba labda tunao watasimama na mwananchi dhidi ya huyu Ndudi ambaye anamwaga hela kila mahali. So kwangu let's not build that trust. So yani ile kwamba tuna matumaini makubwa na IEBC kwa sababu kutokana na misingi yake na jinsi ilivyotengenezwa. Pili, hii ya pesa ingekuwa pengine ni hawa opposition, basi ungeona sheria inatumika visivyo, kwamba pesa zinatumika zimezidi kiwango, lakini wanaotumia hizi pesa kuzimwaga ni wale ambao wametoka kwa serikali. Kwa hivyo kwetu kwamba hiyo ni ngumu sana IEBC kuweza kuchukua maamuzi, kimtazamo wangu, dhidi ya hawa ambao wanamwaga hela kiholela. Na hiyo itakuwa ni ishara wazi kwamba IEBC tayari imetekwa kimpango. Unaona, ipo kwa ajili yao. Unajua taifa letu lilivyo, hasa masuala ikifikana masuala na siasa na uchaguzi. But tuangalie tu jicho letu kubwa zaidi upande wa mwananchi. Je, mwananchi yuko wapi? Yuko kwa kasongo ama yuko pale ambapo anaona kwamba anahitaji mageuzi ili apate kupumzishwa huu mzigo? So to me naweza nikasema asilimia kubwa mwananchi yuko kivyake, si huku ambako ni mahali kwa pesa kama zamani. Kama zamani kwamba labda pesa italiwa, lakini mwananchi yeye tayari mitazamo yake ni ishara wazi, anaonyesha haswa wapi ameelekea. Kwa hivyo hilo tunaweza kulijibu kwamba matumaini kwa IEBC tusiweke sana vile kwamba wanaweza fanya maamuzi ambayo yatakuwa na tija kutokana na jinsi walivyowekwa pale, kiurafiki nini, sometimes jinsi ambavyo imefanywa haya mambo haraka. Ukiangalia kwamba tusijaze sana matumaini pale, but wana haki kama Wakenya kikatiba kuweza kustopisha hili. Labda pengine sasa wajigundue kwamba hili taifa ni kubwa kuliko sisi IEBC, na Wakenya wana matumaini makubwa kwetu. Kwa hivyo itakuwa si vyema kwamba tutakuwa hatujawatendea haki ya kikatiba, unaona. So labda warudi katika hiyo hali, basi watakuwa sawasawa na sisi. Lakini kama ni ile kwamba nguvu imetoka mahali fulani, law from above, nini naweza ingaiweka katika hiyo hali kwamba kuna nguvu inatoka mahali ingine, basi itakuwa ngumu. Hawa watamwaga pesa, lakini kufikia sasa hivi hata hiyo pesa pia bado inawapa kizungumkuti, kwa sababu pesa inamwagika nyingi, na ukitazama bado wananchi hawajashawishika kama vile mwanzo. Hususu hasa wananchi haswa jenzia hawajashawishika, wananchi hawajashawishika. Wale wanaofanya kazi katika nyadhifa za umma, kwa mfano kama walimu na wale wanaokatwa mishahara, pia nao hawajazidishwa kabisa. So ni kwamba hakuna vile ambavyo huyu kiongozi wetu haswa anaweza tegemea IEBC, kwamba yeye tegemeo lako liko kwa IEBC, lakini Wakenya pia sisi nasi hatuko pale zaidi.
Na unajua swala kubwa ni kuwa sana huwa tunazungumza ama tunazungumzia sana wananchi, ambapo labda tuseme tuko wapi ama tuelekee vipi, na unapata kwamba hawa wananchi ndio bado unapata kwamba hawa viongozi bado wanawatumia ama wanawapotosha. Unapata bado wanazidi tu kufanya uamuzi ambao wamekuwa wakifanya kila wakati. Na ni swali ambao mimi nimekuwa nikiuliza mara mingi, ni siku gani labda mwananchi wa kawaida atakuja kutumia fikra zake vizuri na atoe uamuzi ambayo iko na faida na tija kwake.
Asante kaka Ben. Wewe una nafasi yako peke yako kivyako, mahali umetoka. Sote tukiwa mijini, lakini tuna nyumbani ambako tumetoka, tumezaliwa kwa mababu zetu. Na huko ndiko ambako kumelengwa zaidi. Kwa sababu kuna wale ambao kwanza kuweza kuaccess chombo kama hiki, kufuatilia haya tunayozungumza, kwao ni ndoto. Hata wengine pia pengine hata kuangalia runinga inakuwa ni mara moja kwa mwaka. Unaelewa? So hao ndo wanaotumika kupelekewa hiki chambo cha hela, kisha mwisho wa siku wanajipata ndoana, washakamatwa na ndoana. So wewe kama ndugu yangu Benson, mahali upo pale kijijini kwenu, unajua kuna mtu ambaye yuko sharp, ukimwambia hebu tuende na hii civic education kwa watu wetu, tuandae mapema kabla ya kura haijafika, umeelewa, na tuelekeze mahali ambapo kuna usawa, tutakuwa tumefaulu kwa kiasi kikubwa. Kulikoni kwamba tunapiga hapa kelele, wengine wanasema Gen Z mjitokeze, ni kama tunakuwa kama tunamlazimisha jibu wa kamata ili hali wewe una meno sawa pia. Unaona, kwa hivyo ni sawa kwamba tukiwa hapa pia, as we are talking here, as we are doing all what we are doing here, but still kuna kitu kimoja na lazima tukikumbuke kwamba still tuna chance kama Wakenya kuweza kupeleka civic education back to our people, na hiyo inakuwa ni mandatory. Ni kile kidogo msupport ule mtu kwa pale mashinani, hata kama ni credit, hata kama ni usafiri, but afanya hivyo. For instance, I've done it in my, ngoja tu nikumalizie, I've done it on my side, sawa. Last week I've been Nairobi, na nilienda huko nikaidhinishwa, but nilianza huko hamasa mtaani, na nikaangalia ni chama kipi ambacho tunaweza simama kama Wakwale ambacho tunaweza kutetea, kwa sababu already Kwale kama unavyoelewa ilikuwa imemezwa na UDA. Tangu viongozi wake wote wamemezwa. So I did what I did, na nimeona ikifanya mashiko zaidi hii civic education kwa watu wetu. Unaona, kiasi kwamba sasa hivi nimeweza kupeleka, nilianza sub county lakini sasa hivi iko county nzima, na nataka nifungane na hapa na pia niruke county zingine. This coast region tu tumecover up kwamba hakuna vile ambavyo tutaweza kuhadaiwa kiholela na hawa mabwenyenye wanakuja na hela. So mimi hiyo ndo kubwa ambalo nataka kukuambia kaka yangu Bernard, kwamba everybody has a chance kwake kule, kile kidogo unaweza kuwa nacho support pale, utaweza kuhakikisha kwamba watu hawatahadaiwa wakapewa haya matonge ya mkononi kisha wakaja wakalia miaka 5 kwa kukosa wamvuleni. Maana wamvuleni ule kwamba tunapata huduma badala ya speech. Asante.
Okay, asante sana. Na unajua hata mimi pia kuna yale ambayo mimi nafanya ili kuongea na wananchi, niwaambie uongozi bora na jinsi wanafaa wa makinike na wafanye uamuzi. Lakini pale ambapo labda mimi naona kama shida lipo, labda unaweza katusaidia. Ndakurudisha hapa kwa vyama ambazo sisi tunavyo. Unapata kwamba hizi mavyama tunapata kwamba watu wanatumia sana vijana ambao wanataka kuingia katika uongozi, ambao tunasema kwamba wako na fikra na mawazo mapya wanataka kuleta katika uongozi. Unapata kwamba hizi mavyama ndio wanatumia, lakini ukipata kwamba hivi mavyama ndio vimejaa fitina na jinsi vilivyobuniwa kwa njia pia ya fitina, hawana, tuseme kwamba hawana nia bora na inchi sana, kwa sababu unapata ni vyama vya ubinafsi, na wao mavijana wadogo unapata kwamba pia ile kiwango ambacho kimewekwa ama zile vigezo zimewekwa wewe kukua na chama, inapata kwamba vijana hawawezi toa hizo pesa. Unadhani tutakomboaje nchi kama pali popote labda wa vijana wanataka kuenda, unapata kuona kuna kiwango ambazo zimewekwa ni za juu zaidi, ambapo hao wenyewe hawawezi, na hivi vyama ambao labda wanataka kuenda nao, ukiangalia wenyewe ama wenyeji ambao wamezibuni, unapata kwamba wako na makashfa mingi sana. Wa vijana watafanyaje? Nimempoteza kakangu.
Pole, nimekuwa muted.
Okay, sasa
nadhani
nakupata vizuri kaka.
Nadhani kaka, hebu tuangalie kwanza kabla tufanye maamuzi, tuangalie kwanza tutakmini party leaders with their track records. Maana kila chama kiko na party leader wake. Tuanzie hapo katika uongozi hapo juu. Alright?
Yeah.
Then tuwapime kwamba katika masuala la corruption. Alright? Tuwapime katika swala la kuhakikisha kwamba katiba ya nchi inafuatwa kikamilifu kwa manufaa ya mwananchi. Lakini vile vile pia wana ile kwamba wanaamini kwamba hii nchi ya sheria na haki lazima itembee, kwa hivyo ni watetezi wa haki, wanasimama na haki. I hope katika hawa party leaders wapo ambao hawako, hatujawasikia sana katika masuala na corruption. Hawaachi ndio mapungufu, kwa sababu hakuna mwanadamu ambaye hana mapungufu kaka yangu Ben. But still bado kuna wana wenye vyama, mfano kama my party leader ni mtu ambaye sasa hivi chama chake watu wanakidharau, kinasemekana hakina members wengi, hakina nini, lakini kwa sababu, kwa nini hakikuwa na members wengi? Ni kwa sababu ya haya mambo ambayo unazungumza kwamba ufisadi umejaa kwa chama, kuna watu wako juu ya hiyo chama,
kuna watu wanapiana hizo nafasi kutokana na urafiki. So to my party leader, mimi ni mtu ambaye amekuwa na hiki chama, amekuwa katika huu uongozi, nje ya uongozi kwa muda, lakini bado anapeta. In fact sasa hivi kama Mungu angejalia kwamba wapate ushindi 2022, basi sasa hivi angekuwa ndio rais. So hiki ndio chama tunafaa kukijenga, kwa sababu ni kipya, uongozi utakuwa uongozi ni wetu sisi wenye nia swafi, ushaona. Kwa hivyo si wote ambao, kaka yangu, si vyama vyote ambavyo tunakosa hapa Kenya, but kuna kule kuangalia umaarufu hiki chama kwanza ana watu wangapi, kwao anapendwa kinamna gani, mbona hiki chama hakina hivi, badala ya sisi wananchi kujenga chama kwa kutokana na yule kiongozi mwenyewe wa chama mahali amesimama. Kwa hivyo kaka yangu, mimi naweza nikakukaribisha kwa PLP, kwa sababu naona katika hivyo vyama vyote huyo ndio party leader ambaye tunataka nitoboe jipu.
Okay, leo nimekupata kabisa leo.
Sasa ukiniambia kwamba hawa party leader tuongelee kwa PLP, wacha watu wengi tuingie hapo tuone kama tunaweza saidika katika haya masuala ambayo tunayazungumza hapa na ufisadi ndani ya chama. Asante.
Okay, asante sana. Unajua mimi kitu ambacho wewe ninifurahisha katika mazungumzo hao tunakuwa nayo, mara mingi unapata kwamba unapata tu mgeni anapiga upato chama chake, alafu utajua kumbe huyu yuko pande ipi na ipi. Ni vizuri ni kwa kweli ni kiongozi ambao mimi namuenzi sana kulingana na msimamo zake ambazo yeye anachukua, hata kauli ambazo anachukua ni kauli za kipekee. Unajua kitu ambacho labda ukiangalia katika maviongozi ambao sisi tunazo ama tupo nao, ni kwamba wengine hawana msimamo. Ni wale ambao wanajipendekeza hao wenyewe, ambapo ikikuja kitu ambacho haimfaidi sana atafuatilia, ataangalia kitu ambacho kinamfaidisha, ndio sasa atasema lakini yeye mimi na yeye namkubali, na hata siku moja tukipata nafasi tunaweza kuwa na yeye na mazungumzo, kwa sababu kitu ambacho mimi naona kama tunakosa katika nchi yetu, si vyama, si kitu, lakini ni uongozi. Yule mtu ambaye ako na mafikra na mawazo mzuri kwa nchi, yule mtu ambaye anaelewa changamoto ambao wananchi wanapitia ama anaelewa wananchi wake, na yule mtu ambaye anaweza chukua muamuzi ambao itakuwa ni bora, hata kama ni uamuzi ambao haitakuwa inakubalika na wengi, lakini manufaa yake inaweza kuja si tu kwa saizi, lakini baada ya muda yani mrefu. Ndio kiongozi ambao tunataka. Mr. Joseph bado yuko hapa kakangu?
Mimi nafurahia tu nikisikia mambo ya PLP. Bwana Dana anasema PLP hatujingo.
Brother Dana bwana.
Lakini kila mtu ako na uhuru wa kujoin ile chama anataka. Lakini Kwale huyo mama anaitwa Achani amewakalia sana bwana. Huko kutakuwa kunoma sana, lakini
shikilia mimi ndio shuhuda wa kweli, hata usiwahadai wa Kenya hapa. Yeye pia naye roho mkononi, kwa sababu mbinu anazotumia ni zile za baba yake wa kisiasa. But ukumbuke kwamba tusiangalie yeye tu, tuangalie huyu mwananchi. Kama mimi msimamo niko hapa, yuko wapi? Umenielewa? So hii sauti imebeba wananchi, haijabeba Achani. Tuangalie mwisho wa siku tutaona mbivu na mbichi, mjomba. Lakini Achani amejikalia yeye mwenyewe na mbinu zake wanazozitumia za baba yake wa kisiasa ambazo zimegonga mwamba. Asante.
Nimeacha kuongea mambo ya Achani, sitaongea mambo ya Achani tena.
Okay. Kwa sababu mimi ni mtu ambaye atakuwa anaingia kazini kwa muda mchache, itabidi tuongee kama dakika 10 hivi, labda tu Joseph tu unaweza tuambia labda we maoni yako sana sana, kwa sababu sasa tunaenda katika uchaguzi mdogo wa Mbeere. Tumezungumzia mengi, sema yale ambao sisi wenyewe tunafikiria. Labda wewe, jambo gani labda unaweza tuacha nayo kulingana na uchaguzi mdogo wa Mbeere, kwa upinzani na hata kwa wananchi vile vile, kwa sababu wao ndio wapiga kura na chama tawala cha UDA?
Asante. Hata kuna by election hujaongea kuhusu ambayo ni ya Kasipul. Mambo inachemuka kule na nimeona mambo sasa imeanza kuchemuka zaidi sasa. Mambo si rahisi vile wanazowada. Vile Boyd Were alikuwa anadhania si rahisi. Kama alikuwa anadhania itakuwa rahisi kwake, juu ako na ODM, haitakuwa rahisi. Nimeona hiyo itakuwa mlima. Tunaona deputy governor ameingia kimasomaso, ana support candidate, na I think paka wabunge fulani example the senator wa Homa Bay and certain MPs utaona pia wako kwa hiyo campaign trail ya Boyd Were, and so many of the secretary general. I think Boyd Were should not sit pretty. Hii mambo ikai mzuri kwake. Si rahisi kwa for Mbeere North. Mbeere North, politics is going to play out. If it will be a free and fair elections, that is because you know the machinery of the government inajaribu kuingia kule ndani, jaribu kuvuruga kidogo. But if it is free and fair, I think we are going to see the results on 28th. But me, what I predicted is Karis will win that seat. But the major issue is what Father Dan has told you. It's not about how much percent you won with. It's about have you won that seat. That is what people are going to remember. Yeah, that is what people are going to remember, because when Karish wins that seat, all those people who are in that Mbeere North, we just start calling him his MP, the IMP. And you saw what happened to Kawanjiko after he won the elections of the by-elections of 2021. In 2022, he won the seat very easy. I don't think even there is somebody who alikuwa anapingana na yeye. And even if they were, aliwashinda rahisi sana. Because what was being talked about is the chama UDA. So I think pia Gachagua decided not to kusimamisha mgombea wa DCP was also another advantage. Because we also have a candidate in Mbeere from TSP.
Yeah, Moses Kuria.
And you don't talk about him. Why don't we talk about him? You know,
they are not many contenders.
It's a two-horse race, so that's why we removed the candidate from there. So we don't know even the candidate of Moses Kuria if he's there to spoil the votes or if he's there to, and I don't know. So this is just it. Mbeere, we are going to see. The best thing is we don't need to wait like 2027 elections. At Tasema, we are going to wait. This one is only 4 days. We are going to be here. We are going to see what will happen. Right. But I prophesied something here. I told you what I prophesied is after these by-elections, you are going to see the cabinet reshuffle. You are going to see parliament reshuffles. You are going to see. Yesterday we talked about Kindiki, and when I talked about Kindiki, I saw that one in my dream. Unajua watu wanasema siku hizi wanaota, hata Mbadi alisema aliota wakiongea. So mimi niliona kwa dream yangu tukiongea na future, ikaniambia Kindiki hivyo tulikuwa tunaongea about Ndindi Nyoro, he can be able to take over.
Okay, all right. All right, thank you so much Mr. Joseph, and let me give ndugu yangu msimamo tusema mambo ya mwisho kabla tujafunga.
Asante ndugu yangu Ben, asante ndugu yangu Ben na kaka yangu hapa Joseph. Mambo yangu ambayo nitaweza kufunga nayo ni kwamba kwa hii fununu ya kuongezewa hela yetu ifike noti ya 5,000 ni ishara wazi uchumi umeshuka, na ni ishara wazi kwamba hawa mabwana wameshindwa. Pili na mwisho kabisa ni kwamba ni kuondoa uoga. Kuondoa uoga ndani ya nafsi yetu na kumwamini Mungu kwamba tunaweza. Wananchi tusidahadaiwe na tonge la mkononi, maana mwisho wa siku watakaoumia ni sisi. Kwa hivyo watakuja kwa lugha nyingi, lakini sisi tubaki pale pale kwamba kwa haya tuliyoyaona hadi sasa hivi sarafu yetu inatakiwa kuletewa shilingi noti ya shilingi 5,000 ni kushusha thamani ya hela na ni kuonyesha kuanguka kwa uchumi pakubwa. Amerika mpaka sasa hivi bado ni dola, ina miaka karibu ni karne, bado ni dola. Tusijaona noti nyingine ya dola 200, dola 3,000, dola 2,000 na imedominate hapo. So kwa ishara hii ya kutaka kuongeza noti ifika 5,000 ni ishara wazi kwamba hawa mabwana wameshindwa, na njia moja hapo tu ni kuungana na sisi kufanya nini? Kuwaondoa 2027 kwa kishindo. Hilo tu mimi ndio langu ambalo nitafunga nao, lakini tusiogope haya mawimbi, tusiogope vitisho, wala tusiogope kufanya kile ambacho kinatija, haswa mashinani kule ambako ndo ni walengwa zaidi. Hao ndo ni walengwa zaidi. Huku mijini sina tatizo, lakini haswa huko mashinani ambako kila dhiki mwananchi anapitia huko. Kwa hivyo ni haraka kushawishika. Kwa hiyo tukiajaliwa, tuwape hamasa ya kutosha wale ambao wametuzunguka kwamba hivi vinavyokuja tuvileni, ndio, lakini cha msingi ni kura yako. Ama hivi vinavyokuja tusivile kwa sababu tumevula kwa muda na vimetungiza pabaya, wache wabaki navyo, lakini kura yetu tuangalie ni wapi tunaweka 2027 kuweza kuondokana na hili tatizo ambalo tuko nalo sasa hivi la nchi. Asante.
Bwana Msimamo, ningependa tu kumuuliza swali. Kwani hataki kuenda kwa shopping na noti ya 5,000? Akienda tu anaekelea tu yote, anafanya shopping bila kushinda akiulizwa. Kama ni shopping ya 5,000 anafanya shopping ya 5,000. Unajua ni rahisi sana kuliko kutoa maelfu moja.
Hapana, sarafu kupanda kiasi hicho. Hebu tuangalie kwa jicho la ndani, nyie wasomi wenzangu, ni kupanda kwa uchumi, hebu ni kuanguka kwa uchumi? Kwa sababu tumeona zile sarafu za ni wapi, Zimbabwe,
ni kuanguka kwa uchumi,
ni kuanguka kwa uchumi. Kwa hiyo hawa jamaa wasituletee kwamba ati wanaleta wanabali, kwa sababu kama taifa sisi tulisonga mbele. Kwanza alikuwa tumeachana masuala na sarafu kabisa, ni pesa yako kwa simu, fanya yako, enda. Sasa ni mzigo gani unatupunguzia kwamba utakuwa na 5,000 tu ili upunguze mzigo wa mfuko? Kwani nani alikwambia pesa inalemea? Nani alikwambia pesa inalemea?
Unajua hiyo pati inanipatia swali, kwa sababu karne ambao tuko saizi ni karne ambao tunaona kwamba tunapatiana teknolojia nafasi sana sana. Ukiangalia nchi yetu unapata kwamba mara mingi sisi tunatumia sana sana huduma ya Safaricom kufanya ununuzi. Unapata kwamba ni watu wachache ndio wanatumia pesa taslim au sarafu taslim. Mara mingi imekuwa ni njia ya kiteknolojia. Sasa ukituletea hiyo itatusaidia nini? Hiyo ni jambo ya kwanza. Jambo la pili ni kwamba nilikuwa nimesikia tu hiyo fununu, lakini unajua ndio umeileta. Lakini nilikuwa naona kwamba walikuwa nasema kwa hiyo fununu, au walikuwa nasema tu kwamba ile picha ambayo itakuwepo pale ni ya Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga. Sasa swali ni je, inawekwa hapo kumheshimisha ama inawekwa hapo tu kwa minajili ya siasa ya kushawishi wengine kwamba amefanya, kwamba sasa wale watu ambao walikuwa wanampenda zaidi wataona kwamba kufanya jambo la maana? Hiyo ndio swali.
Ndugu yangu Ben, wakufa hafichi uchi, hafichi uchi. Tumeona state funeral haikufanya kazi. Unataka kumeza pia na chama kingine kwa sababu ni muasisi, haijafanya kazi. Nao ni hii noti 5,000 ikibandikwa sura la angalau jamaa pia nao angalau inaweza fanya kazi. Lakini ndugu yangu, mfamaji siku zote haachi kutapatapa. Hatuna haja na hii, maana hiki ni chambo tu, angalau walu angalau watajisifia. Lakini je, tujiulize kikatiba, sarafu na picha ya mtu ni haki kikatiba? Na je, itawezekana hili kikatiba na kubandika sura ya mheshimiwa hayati mwenda zake baba Raila Odinga? Kikatiba je, ni sawa? Labda mnijibu kwa hilo, mnitoe kutu za masikio hapa, taka za masikio kabla tufunge.
Ndio, hiyo ndio swali nilikuwa nauliza, kwa sababu mimi pia nilikuwa nauliza, ni fununu tu nilisikia nikajiuliza, faida yake ni gani? Kwa sababu unataka kufurahisha watu ama kuna jambo
ukitaka kujua kitu moja kwa UDA ama Kenya Kwanza hakunaga fununu. Kama unasikia hiyo kitu inatoka ni kitu wanafikiria. Hakunaga fununu kwa UDA. Hiyo ni kitu wanafikiria. Lakini vile kakangu amesema msimamo kwamba state funeral haikufanya kazi. Chama kumeza haikufanya kazi. Kugawanisha chama ya ODM haikufanya kazi. Sasa ile kitu imebakia ni atengeneze noti ambayo imeandikwa Baba Raila Amolo Odinga na ile stadium ya Talanta iitwe Baba Raila Amolo Odinga Stadium. So hiyo ndio kitu Raila Ruto amebakia nayo ya kucheza nazo. Hizo ndizo kadi amebakia nazo za kuchezea watu wa kutoka the Lake region.
Okay.
Babu yangu aliniambia hapa akinifunza wakati unajua tulikuwa tunakoka moto. Unaelewa? Aliniambia maneno mengi. Basi ulifanya debe likawashinda daima. Maneno mengi. Ulifanya debe likawashinda daima. Na ni kweli kwa sababu sasa kila maneno amezungumza, kila rangi amejaribu kuipend, lakini haijakuwa na mashiko, haijakubalika. Yani yeye hajakubalika. Pili, unajua kila kiongozi ana sifa yake. Tumpe sifa yake in terms na masuala na mobilization, in terms na njia za shortcut, lakini ni swala la uongozi halikuwepo tangia awali ndani yake. So ndio maana mpaka muda huu tunashangaa na tunashangazwa na mengi, kwa sababu bado tuko katika kampeni, hatujakuwa katika huduma kwa mwananchi, na ndio kitu ambacho mwananchi baada ya kura anategemea huduma kwa kuangalia kiongozi wake na manifesto ambayo amekuwa nayo. Hebu tujiulize, manifesto ya UDA ya bottom up ni mara ya mwisho kusikia the word bottom up ni lini? Mimi nitakwamia hapo kakangu bana, kwa sababu hapa naweza nikachemka na tukashinda hapa, na haya maswala nyeti yananipa kichefchef na kizungumkuti ndani ya moyo wangu. Asante.
Okay, asante sana ndugu yangu, tulia. Kesho bado tuko na siku, tutazungumzia hayo kwa sababu unajua kuna vitu ambazo labda wanasiasa wanatumia sana sana kuwadaa wananchi ili wakupatie picha ama kalenda kukuambia kwamba pali ambapo tunaenda ni karibu sana. So ni kama mwananchi inafaa upige utafiti na uipige darubini ujue hii kama haiendi. Hamed Abdalla sema Hamed Abdalla, asante sana, karibu sana kuingia katika kipindi chetu. Na mimi huwa kila wakati nasema kwamba mpiga kura lazima amakinike na achunge hoja ambayo mwanasiasa anakupatia. Kama umeona hoja ambayo ni hoja ambazo ni hoja ambayo unaona kama zinaweza badilisha maisha, then inafaa umpigie kura. Lakini tusiwe tu watu ambao wanapiga kura kwa hisia. Hiyo ndio kitu ambacho imetukosesha sana. 5K not ought to be just for award, not legal tender. Remember we had it in the past, coins just for memorial function, not legal tender. In US there is $2, but not in production anymore. Okay, that's okay. So to my friends who and my panelists who have been here with me for almost 3 hours, let me take this opportunity to thank everyone, including Father Dan, Muhammad, Abdallah. Thank you so much. We have Tony Lalan. Thank you so much. We have also at Midorash. Thank you so much. And everyone, thank you so much. And to my brothers Musimamo and Joseph, thank you so much. Tomorrow I will be having also discussion in the evening from 7 p.m. Is it 7? From 6:45 p.m. to around 8:30. If you find time, you are most welcome to join so that we can have a conversation. Thank you so much, and may God bless you all.
Ni kesho ama ni jioni?
Jioni kama ndugu yangu atakuwa na nafasi. Jioni sitakuwa na nafasi. Ndugu yangu Makubura atakuwa na nafasi, atakuja. Kama hatakuwepo, sasa mimi nitakuja Monday. Nikuja Monday jioni. Okay, sawa sawa.
Boni, tukiwashe mkuu. Tukiwasheni mkuu.
Asante sana, ndajaribu kadri niwezavyo. Asante sana Joseph.
That's my brother.
Si uko sawa, then tomorrow we can meet tomorrow to discuss the ones for Sunday during. We'll meet on Monday. I'll be having, maybe Makubura will be having show tomorrow, but to me today, not tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be having show, but Makubura will be having the show today in the evening if he finds time. But we can meet on Monday so that we can continue with the conversation.
But there's a guy who told you why you are not reading the comments.
I tend to put them on the, share them on the, you see like I've changed, you see like
alikasirika naye akasema, so you say so yes, so Ben, so tuseme Ben hautatusomea please.
Okay, Paul, I take that my brother. I will make sure that every day I will be reading the comments. Sorry about that one today, and I hope find it in your heart to forgive me. I will not make that mistake again, and may God bless you all. Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph and Mr. Msmamu, for tuning in the show. All right. Okay, thank you so much. Let me see what can happen here. All right, Joseph.